fresh, fresh, flex, fresh, 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 flex, fresh.
You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
You better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate,
Hey,
activate. Look up, Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate, activate,
hey, hey.
activate. Look
They
up.
say I ain't saved because I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need, and that's it. They always in my business because they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible, but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit, activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my ways? So
Holy Spirit,
you better
activate.
do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate,
Hey, hey, hey.
You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
You better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate,
Hey,
activate. Look up, Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate, activate,
hey, hey.
activate.
They
Look up.
say I ain't saved because I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need, and that's it. They always in my business because they say I'm backslid. They read the Holy Bible, but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit, activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my ways? So
Holy Spirit,
you better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate,
Hey, hey, hey.
I was coming. Okay. I wasn't that late. It'll be a lot later than this. There's so much information. Okay. And not only that, there's even other tea about other tea. Okay. So there's a lot, all right, that we are about to get into. Okay. I mean, a whole bunch that we are about to talk about. Okay. Um, as always, justice for Shanquella Robinson. We will not rest, okay, until she gets justice. All right, y'all. Okay, we know the official police report came out from Cabo, so we're definitely going to get into that. The police report from the Mexico police, we're going to get into that. We are, and all of that good stuff. But we're also going to get into something that I've kind of seen discussed, but not really discussed. Okay, about someone that it's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. All right. I love you all. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As usual, I'm just going to bring you information that I've seen, and you can do what you want with it, believe what you want to believe. Everything is alleged. It is what it is. I still feel like Khalil is gay. I still feel like Malik is gay. Y'all are gay. My mind has not changed on that. You guys are queer. It is what it is. We're going to get into a lot. Okay. So I'm not even going to hold y'all any further. Okay. We're just going to jump right into it. So let's start. Shout out to the Charlotte Observer. We're going to get into this, of course, and what really happened with the parties, who called the police, who was there, who was present when the paramedics and whatnot got there. We're going to get into all of that. Okay. So after that, we're going to get into some fake family members that are interviewing places that are saying they're Shanquella's cousin and really isn't. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Nazir having his phone conversation with shout out to Gerald from the North Carolina Beat. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about a lot. All right. So let's get started. The Charlotte Observer. Doctor tried to revive Shanquella Robinson before her death. Police report excerpts shows. Okay. So let's get into that. Information from the police report says Shanquella was alive when the medical help first arrived at vacation home where she was staying with a group of people last month in Cabo, Mexico. Okay. So from the first report that we had heard about Shanquella passing away at 3 o'clock, passing away 15 minutes after her injury, that is not true. Okay. That's not true. It's not true according to the police report. Okay. The time frames and whatnot. We noted. We noted. We were saying that yesterday, y'all. We were saying like that. This don't make sense because it's like, well, how did that happen to somebody? Move her body and she got injured. Like, how did that happen? We were all confused. So there goes to show you that she was alive a lot longer than even the idiot Nazir. Because even that's what I'm saying. Even with Nazir stating that it was not possible for me to, allegedly, it's not possible for me to have done anything when I didn't arrive there until around the time she passed away, which has been 3 o'clock, right? No. There's plenty of other time slots of the doctor being there, the paramedics arriving, the police arriving. So there's different time frames, and they're all in the evening. So again, that makes sense. This report makes complete sense, but that autopsy or that death certificate, I should say, did not. That didn't make sense. 3 o'clock, 15 minutes, right? What? Like, that didn't make sense. So that's not true. This report is accurate because they were there. They were, were literally there. So let's get into it. So the report differs from details previously reported from the 25-year-old Robinson's death certificate said she died within 15 minutes of being injured. Okay, so I'm going to read that again. The report differs from details previously reported from the 25-year-old Robinson's death certificate that said she died within 15 minutes of being injured. Now, that death certificate came from Mexico. That came from them. That didn't come from America. That wasn't American. After the autopsy was done, that was like America's death report. But for the certificate, but that information came from Mexico, from where they took her body after. This is what they stated, what they estimations and guesstimations and what had happened. So they just told that girl police report up. Mexico, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Because y'all just did what y'all wanted to do with that girl death certificate. Wrote what y'all wanted to wrote. Guess what y'all wanted to guess. I have to check her race. Like, did they even say she was black? Because what did they get right? I'm just like, this is a coupon. This ain't no receipt. So I was confused, Lord. So I said, Salamandra, Bernard, I'm going to need y'all to file a lawsuit. Absolutely. Because this don't make no sense. If that family wouldn't have went with their gut and just would have left well enough alone, we wouldn't know none of this. We wouldn't know none of this. Mexico helped the Cabo Six get away. Mexico. According to y'all, all 6 of these guilty people were innocent. Y'all made them look innocent. Y'all absolutely did. Y'all just went with what the people said. Whew. So Mexico, y'all did Shanquella dirty. Y'all did her dirty. Y'all absolutely did her flip. But move right along. The Charlotte, okay, my fault. Okay. 15 minutes of her being injured. Instead, a police report shows a doctor from a local hospital was with Robinson and others in the house for close to 3 hours. 3 hours, y'all, before she was pronounced dead. The Charlotte Observer obtained the police report, y'all, earlier this week that had yet to be publicly released. Okay, so I believe that they got this from Bernard because Bernard has this report. He definitely has it. So I think that they got it from him. And again, this is in Charlotte. So I'm sure they've been in close contact with the family. So I'm assuming that they got it from Bernard. Okay, anyways. So where were we at? Publicly released. Okay. The information was provided to the Observer by Geraldo. Who? I'm not saying that. An investigative reporter who works with the Los Cabos for Los Cabos for Metropolitan MX. Metropolitan MX, okay? And details were first reported by Metropolitan MX on Monday, y'all. Robinson is a Charlotte native who traveled to Cabo on October 28th. She died a day later. Notably, the police information reported by and provided by the Metroplex MX does not mention obvious signs of Robinson's physical injuries, which family members have said existed on her body prior to her burial. Grave injuries to her back and neck were determined to be the cause of death after the autopsies by officials in Mexico. The police report says she also suffered cardiac arrest. Oh my goodness. Mm. Now let's get into it. Since her death, the FBI and Mexican police authorities have launched investigations into how she died. The lack of conclusive evidence and conflicting explanations has led to her story going viral, invoking global outcry with countless people closely following Robinson's death. The hashtag Justice for Shanquella has been trending on Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. The Charlotte Observer has been unable to reach those who were on the trip. No arrests were reported as of late Monday. Robinson's family became suspicious of her friend's claims that she died of alcohol poisoning when a Mexican autopsy report showed the cause of death was severe spinal cord injury and Alas luxation. Luxation is a form of neck injury. The Observer attempted to reach Cabo police via email and social media messages and did not receive a response. I wouldn't either. Zuniga, is that how you say that? Told the Observer he obtained the internal law enforcement report through a source. Robinson's family did not return multiple calls and messages. Interesting. Thief. Shanquella Robinson's police report. Now let's get into this, y'all. The information from the police report reads that at 2:13 p.m. on October 29th, medical help was summoned to the Villa Linda 32, a property run by the company Cabo Villas, located in San Jose del Cabo. I hope I said that right. Around an hour later, Dr. Carolina Beatriz Orleanius Gutierrez, yes, Lord, of the of the American Medical Center, a local hospital, arrived to treat Robinson, according to the report. House calls to vacation rentals for routine non-emergency medical services are common in the tour hubs in Mexico. So they're saying that that is very common for them to have doctors come from local hospitals and treat people at their establishments. Okay, so they're saying this isn't a big deal. This happens all the time. Okay, like this is what we do. Okay, we does this. Okay, like we can see we have everything. Okay, whatever you want, we're gonna get you. If you want a doctor, we're gonna send you a doctor. If you want a dentist, we're gonna send you a dentist. If you want a nurse, we're gonna send you a nurse. Like this is what we do. Okay, because that's very interesting. So there was a doctor that the Villa Linda 32, okay, has they I don't think they're like an official employee, but an employee. You know, not like they just work there, like they work for the hospital, but they do like house calls. I'm getting from it is what I'm getting. So again, right here, around an hour later, Dr. Carolina Beatriz Orleanius Gutierrez of the American Medical Center, a local hospital. A local hospital arrived from a local hospital, which I mean, it's a local hospital, arrived to treat Robinson, according to the report excerpts. House calls on vacation rentals for routine non-emergency medical services are common in the tourist hubs in Mexico. So again, that is a very common thing, which I have not heard of, but that's cool. Hold on one second. I have to plug my charger. There we go. We're good. Okay, now we're good. So, oh my goodness. So, yes. So they were with the doctor, okay, and this doctor was there for about 3 hours. Wow, 3 hours. Okay, let's keep going. It is unclear. Well, my fault. The Observer confirmed with the American Medical Center on Monday that Gutierrez is employed there. Okay, so they said the American Medical Center did say that she worked there. Y'all know I'm nosy. I went to go look for her. I had to go look for her. So I went to go look for you, girl. Beatrice Torres, girl. I went to look for you. So I absolutely did. I went to go look for her. So and I don't know if I found her, but I'm gonna show y'all what I found. Okay, so but we're gonna keep on reading this. Okay. So, yes, so Gutierrez is employed there. The hospital did not respond for requests for medical and autopsy reports. That's weird. It is unclear in the police report who called for medical help. Okay, so in the police report, it does not actually state who called her. That's what that means. So they don't know because people are saying Winter Donovan did. From what I'm gathering, again, it is not clear, especially from the police report, who called for Dr. For Carolina, for Beatrice. It's not clear who called, which again is weird. I'm sure she knows. Yeah. So who called? Was it a girl? Was it a boy? Can we at least get that? So we're not sure exactly who called. So people are saying that Winter called again. We don't know if Winter called. We don't know that. We have no idea. So because it says it is unclear, but the reporting person is listed as Winter Donovan of Greensboro. Donovan is one of the 6 people identified by family, friends, and media sources as the person Robinson was traveling with. Donovan cannot be reached for comment, and her phone listed on the police report has been disconnected. The police report is in Spanish. Thank God that y'all Englified this, Lord. According to a Charlotte Observer staff translation of the document, Dr. Gutierrez says she was told Robinson had drunk a lot of alcohol, and the medical call was for Robinson to be given an IV. The police report indicates Gutierrez found a female, understood in the report to be Robinson. Okay. So again, that's another issue because why folk come, we need to know why folk come, they're not being charged already because that's not only were they obstructing justice for lying and saying that it was alcohol poisoning, they're also telling this doctor as she's coming in, who is coming to do cares, a lie as well. So she is not doing a proper practice on what you would do with someone that had that injury, the spinal cord and neck injury. And again, you're not going to be able to tell that those things are broken internally by just looking at her. But if they would have told her the truth that she got into a physical altercation and she didn't get up after certain things happened to her physically during the altercation, they would have treated her that way instead of coming in thinking that she is of sound mind and body, and whatnot, when the girl is struggling to breathe, and whatnot, and you got people giving you pushing all on your chest, and all she needs to take to the hospital. We don't need to, because she breathing, so there's no need to do CPR on someone that is breathing. So if she was in a stable, more so a stable condition when she first got there, then instantly she just got her to the hospital. Just get her there so she can get hooked up to what she needs to be, oxygen or whatever, so they can check her levels, truly check her levels. And if she needs oxygen, they can hook her up to it and whatnot, instead of giving her chest compressions and whatnot on top of a cracked spine and a broken neck. So again, they gave the doctor the wrong information. So the doctor didn't know what she was only treating her by what she was told. And she can't guess what happened. And you can't see, again, any of those things via, especially because they're all internal. But what does kind of make me side eye the doctor is because you see that she clearly had visible injuries to her face. So with her having visible injuries to her face, that definitely should have been questioned because there are clues, around you that other things have been going on with this young lady. But instead of checking those things, she just went with what people said. Those 6 people that are there, they're not doctors. You are. But again, she's not given the correct information to do proper protocol and what a doctor would do for set injury. So again, the doctor had no idea that the girl's spine was cracked and that her neck was broken. And she had no idea. So, but let's keep reading. So, where is her hair? Okay. Understood in the report to be Robinson with stable vital signs but dehydrated. So that means she was stable. That means she was breathing. Her heart was beating. There was no faint or faint pulse, or anything like that. Like she was stable, when she first got there, but she stated that she was dehydrated. And it's extremely possible for her to be dehydrated, especially if they start doing to her what they start doing to her in the morning. So if that, well, from what it looks like, that altercation happened in the morning. So if she got injured in the morning, it's just a high probability she didn't drink anything all day, type of situation. So she could have been easily dehydrated just by not having a drink for the last, her going to bed and not, having anything to drink, and then waking up, getting basically into this altercation. She didn't drink anything. So it's been hours, since she's consumed anything, especially water. So I'm sure that's probably why, if she was dehydrated, would be why. And especially if she was, because she was definitely drinking the night before. Now, did she get drunk? It doesn't seem that way. But again, that first report, we can't even believe that anymore. That said that she wasn't intoxicated. I mean, the autopsy, we can go off of that, So the autopsy said during the time of her passing, she was not intoxicated. We can go, I guess we can go off that, but that death certificate, we can't go off that at all. But yeah, so if she was, dehydrated, again, she didn't drink anything, this altercation happened, a lot going on, and doing all that fighting and stuff too, even being hurt and harmed like that, that can dehydrate you as well. When you get into a fight and whatnot, especially, it's like you were out of breath, and or you're not breathing like you normally do. Your adrenaline's pumping, heart's racing, and all of that. So I mean, that too, constantly having to fight or defend yourself, whatnot, that can, help with dehydration as well. You do all that working out and all that stuff. You want to drink some water, stay hydrated during all of that. And again, she went through a crazy situation before she passed away. So again, there could be multiple reasons why she was dehydrated, especially if she drank the night before and had consumed no water, or anything after drinking the alcohol that she did drink, that can dehydrate you, as well. So there's a lot of different factors of her dehydrating, but what she wasn't was extremely intoxicated. That's not anything that I've seen on this report that the doctor said that she was intoxicated. The doctor never said she was intoxicated, because if you drink that much liquor and fall into I guess a state of, you have alcohol poisoning, but you passed out, I guess you're unconscious, you can still tell, there's still ways of reading to see if the person is intoxicated. And smell is definitely one of them, because if a person drank a lot of liquor, it's coming out of their pores, so they're going to be real strong, when you get close to them, and whatnot. So that's another thing. And then she had clear, visible bruising in, her eye. She had they said that she had a knot on her forehead. So there was a lot, but let's keep reading. So where were we? Okay. Dehydrated, unable to communicate verbally, and appearing to be inebriated. Okay. So the doctor took this girl, neck being broken and spinal being cracked, so being in that much pain, why would she be able to speak? And then again, like I said, due to the type of injury that she had, she could have been paralyzed. Like, she most definitely could have been paralyzed. Who knows? But if she was still talking, but not getting words out, I mean, that speaks too. But she could take that as her being drunk. I get that. Again, they didn't tell her anything about her being injured. She was mumbling and not being able to speak because of her injury. It had nothing to do with intoxication. Like, she was not drunk at all. But the way she was acting, especially if she had a bad concussion or something like that, who knows what was going on with the poor thing. But her verbal skills not being there, that says a lot, that girl was injured so badly that she couldn't even speak. she couldn't even speak. So it's like her body was more so just reacting, pretty much versus, her actually being coherent, but just, kind of mumbling or slowing her words is just more so of like a laid out, eyes rolling back your head in and out, mumble, clear indications of an injury, especially brain wise. That's clear indication. But if somebody is telling that this person is intoxicated, that's people mumble when they're drunk. They slur their words. That they do things like that. That happens. But with her mumbling, I just feel like she was in pain, and I think that she was trying to probably state what happened to her, but couldn't, due to her injuries, and whatnot. I do with the mumbling and whatnot. Her mumbling, she's trying to vocally express something, but the poor thing couldn't. Like she couldn't even talk. Is how bad they did her. It's like, whoa. So she was trying to talk and couldn't. Crazy. So unable to communicate verbally and appearing to be inebriated. The doctor reported that she believed Robinson needed to be transferred to a hospital, but her friends insisted she be treated at the villa. We're not about to just blame that on the Cabo Six. We're not. As a doctor, you are a mandated reporter. So if you see these things going on with this person, you get them to the hospital. They would have especially listened to this doctor if she would have said, my work is done. As far as I can get her is where we're at. So we need to get her to the hospital like immediately. Because like I can do nothing further than this to save her, to revive her. Like I can't. So we got to get her in a hospital setting. Because again, if she felt that Shanquella needed to go to the hospital, then she know it was something other than her being inebriated or her being drunk. She knew it was something else. Because it's just like, no. As somebody that was coherently talking and speaking the day before, and then they start drinking, and then they're like this, no. This does not, alcohol is not explaining this. It's not. So she's like, yeah, we got to get her to the hospital. And I state that is because if she truly thought it was just alcohol poisoning, then why did she stay for so long? Like I don't get what, like why would you stay for a whole 3 hours if you truly just felt that it was alcohol? You didn't. You felt like it was more. You knew it was more, and you felt that she should be transported. She shouldn't be here anymore. She needs to go to the hospital. So even the doctor states it. So with the friends intervening, because Khalil told Salamandra, Shanquella's mother, that they wanted $5,000 and whatnot, and they didn't accept her insurance and blah blah this and blah blah blah. That's not true. Again, the doctor stated it herself. We need to get her to the hospital. Not do y'all got $5,000? Because if y'all got 5 racks, I could get her in a cozy little room, down the street at my job. Because that's where I'm assuming she's saying, like, just because if she worked nearby, then that's what I'm assuming where she wanted to take her, to that hospital, that American based hospital, whatever they call it. So it's just like, why not just overrule them because you're a doctor and take her to the hospital? Like, I don't understand why the doctor just, it's like, do you feel guilty too? Because honestly, like, it's like, do you feel guilty too? Because you know that this girl isn't intoxicated. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Because the signs she's showing is not of just, don't get me wrong, again, some people can be that way while intoxicated, but it's also giving brain injury. Like there's some type of injury to her brain if she cannot communicate her words, like at all, type of situation. So again, I will be definitely questioning that doctor as well, because if you thought it was your better judgment for her to go to the hospital, she should have went to the hospital. No friend should have been able to say anything at that point with you being a doctor, because you should have told them the outcome right then and there. If she doesn't go to the hospital, she'll probably die, type of situation if we don't get her out of here. Her pulse is fading, her oxygen levels, her breathing is slowing, it's getting slower and slower. We need to get her out of here, or the inevitable is going to happen. Tell them the risk, and because Winter definitely panicked, and we're going to get into that right here. So The doctor that reported she believed Robinson needed to be transferred to a hospital, but her friends insisted that she be treated in the villa. Dr. Guerrero attempted an IV but was unsuccessful. According to the report, it's unclear what medication was inside of the IV. I don't think she would have put anything in it to hurt her. So, and she said it was unsuccessful. So, I don't, yeah. The information from police says the doctor was there for close to an hour when Robinson began having a seizure. The convulsions from the seizure lasted less than a minute, according to the report. So again, Shanquella started to have a seizure. That's nothing that Khalil told her mother. Khalil never said anything about a seizure, or anything like that. He never said anything about a seizure. Just like he said nothing about a fight, he never said anything about a seizure. This girl was seizing up and her body was literally going through convulsions. That is how bad she was injured. I cannot imagine how much pain that, wow, wow. I'm sure I can't even imagine. I really can't. I can't imagine how much pain that girl was sitting there in while they all watched. They watched that girl knowing what happened to her, knowing that she needs a different type of help, but all afraid. But all of them were afraid because they wanted to protect themselves. So they're watching her die. Like they knew what was wrong. And all they had to do was open their mouth. Any of all six of them, that's all they had to do was say something else happened. It's something, things got physical and she landed on her back really bad. It may be something wrong with, her. I don't know where, but it may be something wrong with her. She it was on the back of her head. I mean, it could be something with her head. I don't know, but we got to get her out of here because this is not alcohol. But they all said it was alcohol. All of them. All of them. So instead of them standing up and telling the truth, they all lied for their benefit. All of them. Sitting there watching. It's like, how could y'all not feel like the most evil people in the world sitting there watching her go through that and do nothing and say nothing instead of telling the truth so that she could get the real help that she needs? Because what y'all did to her, you can't fix it here if it's going to be fixed at all. Because what they did, that's permanent damage. Literally, what happened to her spinal cord, that's permanent. So it's a high probability she probably would have never walked again. Who knows? Who knows if she ever would have got back to where she was mentally again? I mean, she was basically like vegetable state when she was going through the seizures and whatnot. Before that, mumbling and not being able to say the words, and then going into convulsions and it's a seizuring and and all of that. And y'all just stood there and watched instead of getting her the real help that she needed, standing up. None of you did. You all watched. So at this point, the patient's friend named Winter Donovan called 911 to request an ambulance. So again, Winter, the one who did this, you could tell that the guilt was eating her alive. And she called 911. So she is the one that actually panicked. Because that's a panic. Because remember, they asked the doctor to stay. Don't take her to the hospital. Keep her here per their request. That they requested that the doctor stay there with Shanquella, not taking her to the hospital. Don't take her to the hospital. Leave her here. So when she started to seize and going and started having convulsions went out to her body, that's when Winter panicked and called 911 so that an ambulance could come. So so again, it's not clear who called the doctor to come there in the first place. That's still unclear, but it's clear that Winter is the one who made the 911 call for the ambulance to come and get Shanquella because I feel like the seizure scared her. It scared her. She panicked. That she would have did that whether the doctor was there or not. She would have panicked. And I believe that the doctor's reaction is what made Winter panic. And she's like, "Oh, call her. No, we gotta get her out of here. No, somebody gotta come and get her." Type of situation. And I believe with that seizure, she pretty much passed right there. That was her leaving. That was her. Her soul leaving. Not too soon after that. It was a wrap. When if they would have just did that in the first place, Shanquella would still be alive. Now she may not have been alive the same way she was. I don't think she was going back home, back to North Carolina. how she came. I don't know her verbal skills, mobile skills, mobility. I think a lot of those things would have been different for the rest of her life. Yeah, I think that they caused permanent damage in what they did to her. It was forever type of situation because again, a lot happened. A lot happened to her body. Little, the little frame she had. A lot happened. So again, they could have saved her. They could have saved her. They let that girl sit there and suffer for hours. They let her suffer for hours. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And they knew what was going on the whole time. So at this point, went to Donovan, called 911 to request an ambulance, according to the Observer's Spanish to English translation to the report. This was around 4:20 p.m. Okay, so that would be over an hour, almost, yeah, over an hour, close to an hour and a half after her original death time. Her original death time was around 3 p.m. Now, she's so this at this point she's been alive an hour, almost an hour and a half longer than what her original death certificate said. So let's keep going. In the meantime, the patient presented with difficulty breathing and a lowered pulse, and they gave her rescue breaths. So there's a they. He says they. The doctor, along with a friend, began administering CPR around 4:49 p.m. So that friend is obviously alleged to be Nazir. So Nazir, because y'all know before he said in the video that he administered CPR on Shanquella, but he just talked to Gerald the other day. What was that? Yesterday, the first today, Nazir, and he basically said he did CPR without doing CPR. So it's like, and then he also posts. Let's pull this up real quick. He also posts, because of the report I'm reading right now, he posts this. Now, can I grieve? This is Nazir. This is Nazir Wiggins. He says, now can I grieve? Oh my God. Y'all can all go to HELL and S my D. Go read the article and tell me if I was effing lying. F off. I'm off this internet ish. Okay, so the article that I was just reading with what I just stated, and it said that the doctor and a friend administered CPR on Shanquella. So he's trying to make it seem like he's vindicated because the doctor, which the doctor never said his name, she just said a friend in the report. She just said a friend. So he feels that this is vindication. It's not vindication, idiot. Y'all still let that girl pass away. All of you allowed her to pass away. And you didn't even know how to do CPR. You made it seem like you was doing CPR as soon as they told you that she was in the room suffering from alcohol poisoning. Because you said you went in there caressing and playing Summer Walker, because that's what you do when somebody's going through alcohol poisoning and is unresponsive. Somebody that is sitting there mumbling words that can barely speak, that can't speak, I should say, can't move besides their mind is just racing and going everywhere, especially with the amount of excruciating pain, that they are in. And you caressing on her, all of that, this girl eyes rolling to the back of her head, all of this. And that's why I said you're still a creep, Nazir. You're still a creep. You absolutely are. It was clear as day something was wrong with her beyond what they were telling you. So cut it out. And you knew enough. You knew enough to do something and you chose not to. Instead, you want to play R&B and rub on a girl that is suffering, a girl that is losing her life, a girl that is dying. You rubbing on and playing Summer Walker phone. The only girl you felt at that time was willing to go, because you weren't trying to sleep with nobody else. From what I gathered, it sounds like you were trying to be romantic with her, like you came there for her when she had a whole man. So yeah, you're weird. So yeah, her flip. So you don't get to grieve. You don't at all. Fuck you. As far as I'm concerned, and their family. No, you don't get to grieve. Who are you? Who are you? Besides one of the people that let her die. No, you don't get to grieve. Like, who the are you? That's for her family to do. Innocent people that lost an innocent person, not you. No, you don't get to do that, Summer Walker. No, you don't get to do. No, you don't get to grieve. Yeah, I read the report, and you still a fuckwad. What about it? You're still a loser. You still getting locked up. I read it. What about it? What I'm supposed to read in this article to where I'm supposed to come to you like, sorry. What? Hurry up. What? Where's the vindication? Where? You're not vindicated. You're going up under the jail. You're going to be down there shitting out beans just like the other 5. What about it? Like, yeah, you tried it. That's the type of ish people get hit in the mouth for. Like, I mean, are you serious? You'll say that to Quilla? You'll say that to her sister? You'll say that to her dad, Bernard? You'll say that to her mom, Salamandra? Now can I grieve? Who are you? No, you don't get to grieve. You absolutely do not. Grieve in jail. Wait till y'all get to jail. Wait till the end. Wait till y'all go to prison. Y'all grieve there. Like, oh, you tried it. No, you don't get to grieve. No. What about it? What about it? Suffer. You get to suffer. No, you don't get to grieve. Who are you? All of y'all let her die, but now you try your hardest to make it seem like she meant something to you. The one who was the furthest from her. The closest one was Khalil. If anybody gonna have this energy, it should be him. You're weird. And you have a guilty conscience. You have a guilty conscience. You absolutely do. So no, you don't get to grieve. Like, I'm like, gross. I'm like, did he really say that? Move around. Let's get back into this report because we're gonna get into him. We're gonna get into him. He over there talking to Gerald, talking about some, because he asked him, didn't you give her CPR? He said, no, I didn't give her CPR. What did he say? I breathed in her mouth? You know, something like that. It's like making out with someone is not CPR. Nazir. Making out with her, sticking your tongue all in her mouth and all of that is not CPR. I'm like, oh, you tried it. He said CPR. You said that that's what you did. Like, what do you mean? I gave her mouth to mouth. You know, chest compressions and all that come with it too. If a person stops breathing, you don't just open their mouth and breathe in it. I'm like, so you sitting over there making out with her, playing Summer Walker. Hair flip. You're weird whenever you get done. No, you don't get to grieve, weirdo. No, you don't get to grieve. What Rihanna talking about? Let's get into what you did in high school, player. Let's down somewhere. He tried it. Anyway, let's go back into this report. No, because that made me mad. I was like, no, it's a loser. So, okay, where was we at? Right her. In the meantime, the patient presented with difficulty breathing and a lowered pulse, and they gave her rescue breaths. The doctor, along with a friend, began administering CPR at 4:49 p.m. when Gutierrez detected Robinson had stopped having a pulse. Police arrived and talked with the doctor who was treating Robinson at 5:25 p.m. Okay, so basically her time of death would have been what, around 5 o'clock? If at 4:49 she realized that she no longer had a pulse. So she was gone like around 5-ish, you know, something between 5:49 and 5 o'clock. Because by the time the police got there at 5:25, I'm sure she was gone already, right? Hold on, let's keep reading. Okay, right here. So at 5:25 p.m., it's not clear from the information in the police report exactly what time an ambulance arrived from the 911 call. The report information indicates paramedics administered a total of 14 rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, wow, and 6 discharges AED shocks without success. So they was doing everything in their power to get her heart to beat again. All of that adrenaline, the AED shocks, 14 rounds of CPR. Now, CPR is a lot of chest compressions, right? They did 14 rounds of CPR on a cracked spine and a broken neck. Imagine if she was alive. They did 14 rounds of those chest compressions on a broken neck and a cracked spine. Crazy. Now, with CPR, you can already risk damaging things. Cracked ribs, broken ribs, people have suffered a lot of things getting their life saved. But for all of those chest compressions, and then they were also doing chest compressions on her after she started seizing, and whatnot. So that's crazy. And they just sat around and watched. Sat around and watched. Because if she was alive during the chest compressions, wow. I'm like, that's a lot of CPR on a broken neck and a cracked spine. That poor thing. Wow. Throw them up under the jail, up under it. I'm like, wow. Because, I'm sure some people may overlook that, but it's like, again, CPR is already a very physical thing. It already hurts, for somebody to perform CPR on you. Like when you get up, your chest is going to be in a lot of pain. And especially with your breathing trying to go back to normal as well, that's going to hurt too, so that's already a painful thing. And if your spine is cracked and your neck is broken and somebody is on top of you putting that much pressure on your chest and your back, wow. Wow. So okay, where were we? Right here. Okay. Unable to revive Robinson, Gutierrez declared her dead at 5:57 p.m. So now that's after all of the CPR. So, but she had to have been dead long before that. She, Gutierrez, declared her, because the doctor gets to call it, and if she called it at 5:57, then that's when, they said, like, she's gone. There was no revival after, this time frame. She's gone. Type of situation. So again, alcohol usually does not do that. None of that. Especially in that order type of situation. So yeah, the police report information lists deceased person cardiopulmonary arrest as the police were called. So again, that girl. What this tells us is that fight did happen earlier in the morning. And that girl sat around until after that fight, until almost 4 o'clock in the evening, until they got a doctor. So they sat around for hours knowing what she was in there going through. And I'm not even going to say they knew exactly what her injuries were, probably not, again, internal. But they knew that she was messed up. They knew that. And they did nothing. They sat around trying to figure out alibis instead of trying to get that girl assistance, instead of trying to get her help. So they waited around and just watched her demise. And nobody said anything. Nobody. Like I said with Nazir, when Nazir got there and he swear down, I don't know nothing. I don't know what happened, blah, 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 that. Even more reason for you to call 911. Even more reason for you to call a paramedic, because that would have made Nazir be able to grieve. That would have been Nazir vindication. If you want to be vindicated, being vindicated was you should have called the police immediately. You should have dialed 911 as soon as you seen that that girl was not speaking, that she was mumbling, uttering things that made no sense that was coming out of her mouth, eyes rolling to the back of her head, because all of that was going on. All of it. All of that was going on, especially with her seizing and all of that later on. So it's like, yeah, you knew something was wrong and you didn't do anything. You did nothing. Sitting there playing Summer Walker, caressing on her and all that, that is not assistance. That is not help. You are not a doctor. You don't know what's wrong with this girl, and neither do none of them dumb people, and neither do the other dumb five. They don't know what's wrong with her either. They just know they did it. That's all they know. That's it. They didn't know her injury. They didn't know what was wrong with her. They had no idea. They just knew that she wasn't walking, she wasn't talking, she's not doing any of the things that she was supposed to be doing. That's all they know. And they know it's their fault, and they don't want to be in trouble for it. Especially here. We ain't at home, we all in Mexico, we scared. Y'all used alcohol to get out of Mexico. You absolutely did. You used alcohol to get out of Mexico. And with y'all keeping that girl body there, y'all were keeping the doctors and the police from having certain information that they would have had if she was admitted in the hospital. They would have known things, and y'all know that. That's why y'all was trying to get the hell out of Dodge. Y'all didn't think she would pass away. That's why y'all wanted her to stay there, even declining a doctor telling you that she needs to go to the hospital. No. By any means, she needs to stay here, because y'all know what they're going to find. Right now, they're going to go off of what y'all saying because they have no idea what's going on. So, of course, if the doctor comes in and you say it's alcohol poisoning, that's how she's going to treat her. But if the doctor doesn't think it's alcohol poisoning, she thinks it's something else, then she's going to want to get her into the hospital. And that's what the doctor said, because clearly the doctor, I feel, was like, no, this is something else. Like, it had to be, because if she truly felt it was alcohol poisoning, treat her, give her the IV. The IV doesn't work. Tell them that if she doesn't wake up soon or anything like that, because you can tell when it's alcohol, you can tell. But something in her, I felt, told her this is something else. And I feel like that's why she stayed, because she didn't have to stay long. She could have been there real quick. If it's just alcohol poisoning, okay, let me try to give her IV, get her hydrated. Since y'all saying it's alcohol poisoning. And with the IV not working, it's like, what was not working? Could she not find the vein, or did it reject, or what? Like, what do you mean that the IV was unsuccessful? Or did you give her the IV and still no change? Because if a person is extremely dehydrated, once you put an IV in them, most of them, they feel a lot better. They start in quickly. Give it about a good 20 minutes, and then you start to feel a lot better. Type of situation, especially it's going right in your veins. And if they give you like a little medicine, like if you like hurt or in pain, if they put a little painkiller, in that IV too, it's going straight to the blood system. So it works quicker, faster. With it going straight to the blood system. So people start to feel better right away. So is that what she's saying? That the IV didn't work because they gave her it and still no change. She was still had the same results. Is that why it was unsuccessful? Or could she not find the vein? Or something like, did she not administer the IV? Because the report does say that it's not sure what was in, they're not sure what she had inside of the IV, like what medication she used. But that means that, to me, that sounds like the IV did work, it did go in her system, but it may not have been successful. So yeah, I'm just like, oh, that's crazy. Poor thing. So, and that could have slowed down her heart rate and stuff like that too. She administered like a painkiller, a pain med, because that slows things down too, even your breathing, your heart rate, all of those things, could go get a little slower, So, and if she was, her health was already declining, her heart was already having a hard time beating on its own, or she was already having, and it sounds like the doctor said that she was having difficulty breathing. So with her having difficulty breathing and you adding something inside of her, which the doctor again did not know that she was injured, they just watched, they literally let that girl go through hell. That poor girl. Like, that is crazy. So how did Shanquella Robinson die? Salamandra Robinson, Shanquella's mother, told news outlets that each friend from the trip has a different story, and they initially told her that her daughter had alcohol poisoning. Official autopsy reports list the cause of death: severe spinal cord injury. Is it Atlas? Sorry, luxation. Mexican authorities are investigating Robinson's death as a possible femicide. And the state attorney general's office of Baja California, SIR, announced in a statement Thursday, according to ABC News, femicide is a gender-based murder of a woman or girl by a man, according to the Merriam Webster's dictionary. So, okay, we already know that the family. Okay, shout out to the Robinson family, because I want to move into this, because this puts the time slot. Okay. So let's go over the timeline. Okay. I think it's important for all of us to go over the timeline. October 29th at 2:13 p.m., Winter Donovan, one of the six friends who traveled with Robinson, called for medical help at Villa Linda 32, a property run by company Cabo Villas. Okay. At 3:13 p.m., Dr. Carolina Beatrice Guerrero from a local hospital arrived to treat Robinson. So the fight definitely happened, okay, in the morning. It's what it's giving. That fight was in the morning, because if they didn't call till around 2:13 to get help, either right in the afternoon or early in the morning. One of the, well, not like early, but you know. So it's one or the other, because at 2:13 is when Winter Donovan allegedly called for medical help, and that was to get the doctor. And again, they're saying Winter Donovan. The police report does not state who called, but they're, you know, I'm guessing, you know, they're assuming that it was Winter. So at 2:13 is when she called. An hour later, a doctor made it. So again, Shanquella sat around for hours without medical help, depending on when that fight happened. It was sunlight, so it was day. It was definitely day when that happened. And if they were calling for medical help at 2:13, then it definitely could have, who knows, from, it could happen at 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, who knows? But she sat around for hours, is what it seemed, until somebody finally got the guts, which again, it could have been Winter, because she is the one who allegedly, there's a video of her slamming Shanquella and Shanquella not getting up. So guilty conscience speaks. So an hour later, the doctor makes it. After the doctor made it at 4:13, which was an hour later, Shanquella begins having a seizure. The convulsions from the seizure lasted less than a minute. So could that IV have affected her in a negative way? And I mean, you can't really blame the doctor, because she wasn't given the proper diagnosis of what happened to her. So can't say that that's like malpractice, you know, if it did affect her, because she said that the IV was unsuccessful. So that means, from what we're gathering, she did give her the IV. If that IV has certain medications in it that could slow the heart rate, or slower, make your breathing slower, then that could have just made it so what, if Shanquella, to me, Shanquella was fighting, you know, to live, you know, fighting to breathe, fighting to do all of those things. So if she's fighting to breathe and then you give her something that relaxes her, that makes her stop fighting, then she's just gonna, you know, then she's gonna stop fighting and she's just gonna accept, you know, death. And I think that whatever she put in the IV for her was probably for her to sleep, probably for her to sleep. If she didn't just give her water, what do they call it? Saline. She could have just gave her saline. Or if she saw the condition that she was in, maybe she gave her something to help her sleep, or to help her rest. I don't know. I have no idea. But when the paramedics got there to be giving her all of that adrenaline, it definitely, and I feel like that's why they said it was cardiac arrest, because, and that's when the heart stops functioning, when the heart stops, pretty much. And with the adrenaline that they were trying to give her, it was to get her heart beating again. That's what the adrenaline is for, is to get that heart, back pumping. And I believe that they, because I don't even think if the doctor would have gave her adrenaline, if that would have helped, due to them not knowing what her real injury was. Her neck being broken like that could have definitely been preventing her from being able to breathe. And also with her spine being cracked, her spinal cord being cracked, it could have been preventing her from breathing, for a fact. And also mentally, who knows what happened to her brain. I don't know if that was from the injury or if it was because she was being deprived of oxygen, not being able to breathe, because you kind of, when you can't breathe, you get a little loony, too, at that time. So I don't know. That's what I said. It could have been multiple things. It's all of the Cabo Six's fault, because all they had to say was the girl got injured. Like, literally, that's all they had to say. Instead of, like, they let all of this stuff happen to her. They let them diagnose her wrong. Why would you sit here and tell this doctor that it's alcohol poisoning, knowing that whatever she did, like, they feel like whatever alcohol poisoning do is the same cure for what she's going through. It's like it's not. Like if a person can't breathe and they don't have asthma, so but all of a sudden they can't breathe. So instead you try to call a doctor to get them an inhaler. Like, that's not the problem here. They can't breathe and they're not asthmatic or anything like that. So giving them an inhaler and they still can't breathe after that, then what? Like, no, go to the hospital. That like, that's weird. That they would even try to correlate the two, like what she's going through, when they know that she was injured and why she was unresponsive. Let's just tell them that it's alcohol, because that's the same cure. The same thing that you would do when you slam somebody and beat them around all day is the same thing you do if they have alcohol poisoning. That doesn't even make sense. So it's like you watched that girl go through excruciating pain. Excruciating. And y'all did nothing. Y'all just sat around and let them tug and pull on her and push all on her chest and all that. Y'all just let them do all of that to her without telling them a lick of what happened. Who is the wrong party here? All of you. That's why all of you need to be up under the jail. Like, all of you. So crazy. Like, and honestly, I don't even feel like they were going around saying that alcohol poisoning, because they knew it wasn't alcohol poisoning. That was their alibi again to get out of Mexico. That was their alibi. If we convince them that it's alcohol poisoning, meaning that we need to call a doctor, and then when we need to call their parents, because at these time frames was the same time frame, just a 2-hour difference, that Khalil was calling Salamandra, was calling her mother. At these time frames, called her at 2:13, Then he called her at 3:13. Then he called her again at 4:13. Then he called her again at 4:14. Then he called her again at 5:25. Then he called her again at 5:30. Then he called her again at after 6. So these were the time frames he was calling her, because Salamandra's mom did say that Khalil was calling her and telling her what was going on. This is their alibi. This is how we get out of here. I'll call her mom because the mom only gonna trust me. She ain't gonna trust talking to none of y'all. She was only gonna trust talking to Khalil. And so Khalil knew he had to stay in contact with her. And he had to embed in her mind that it was alcohol poisoning so that she wouldn't think anything fishy. But the problem is hearing other people's stories, because Salamandra said all of them had different stories. So that's when I'm sure Salamandra's instincts started to kick in as a mother, and just like, yeah, no, something ain't right, something's wrong, type of situation. But instead of panicking because she's not there, this is in Mexico, she's in the United States. There's not much she can do. So turning Khalil into the enemy right now is not the time to do that, because he's the closest to my daughter. Like he's where she is. So for me to get into it with him, I'm kind of screwed with the communication, So it's best to just keep my composure, until I know more, type of situation, because there was really no reason for her to make him the enemy within that moment, because again, she has a feeling, but she doesn't know what's going on. I'm sure she's just as confused as we still are to this day. So again, that wouldn't have been the time again to make Khalil the enemy. So, but they all needed a way out, and that was their way out, was the alcohol poisoning. Because if they would have found out anything else, then they would have been stuck in Mexico, type of situation until certain things was figured out. So that's why they got out of there immediately. They wasted no time. Remember, they weren't supposed to fly out until Monday. They all flew out, some of them a few hours later, and the next morning. So while Shanquella was sitting there injured, even before 2:13, and they called for help, they were already changing flights and all of that. And all of that, they was already catching flights like crazy, right? So again, y'all knew what y'all did was wrong, and y'all didn't do anything to fix it. Y'all did nothing to fix it. Y'all allowed that to happen to that girl, and it did not have to end like that. So before we get into, let's get into the doctor. So here go the doctor. Y'all know I'm nosy. Y'all know I'm nosy. Now, at first I thought it was her, okay? But the names is a little bit different. But if you type in that whole name, that sentence of a name, this woman keeps popping up. So I'm like, who is this? Who is that? So, and then, okay, let me see who else pop up. This is supposed to be Mrs. Beatrice. I just pulled that one up. Right here. Because I was confused, because I'm like, okay, well, she over here saying in sentences that she, right here, I am not a doctor. Beatrice Gutierrez responds on Twitter, July 1st, 2020. I said, girl, you ain't no doctor. I said, what is going on? I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, this must not be her. This gotta be, I gotta have the wrong person. Cause hold on, let me turn some light on here. I'm like, I have to have the wrong person. I have to, because I'm like, what she could, what's she on Twitter for talking about some I'm not a doctor. Why? What? I'm like, what you do? Why folk come? Didn't you try to save my girl? Shanquella girl? So I don't know what all of this is about, and I'm not reading none of it because it's weird. But this person right here also has the same name. Okay. And if you look at the top, y'all know I'm nosy. Look, she works for Valeris, right? And now I don't know. I'm like, I wonder if this is her. So I messaged her. So I messaged her because I'm nosy. Yeah. So I messaged her. I said, "Hi, hope your day's well. Are you the doctor that tried to revive my girl Shanquella Robinson in Cabo at the villa? They said she alcohol poisoning. Is that you?" Question mark. So she has not messaged me back, but I feel like this may be her over the other lady. I'm like, I don't think that other lady is her. So I think this is her, Carolina. I don't know, y'all. This is what I found. So this might be her. I'm not sure, but I have questions for her. I absolutely do. So again, like I said, I don't know if it's her. I don't, but she is a doctor. This Carolina right here, she is a doctor. Um, and as you see, that of Valaris, I think that's like some type of like medical stuff you sell. I don't know, but she is a doctor. I know that for a fact. But she is a doctor. So, what's that nurse's name? Trying to be with show. I don't know. Look, y'all. Her name is. I'm gonna tell y'all. Let's go back to the article. Hold on. Let me pull this article back up. Okay. And I'm gonna read her name as best as I can. Oh, okay. That's my girl. Okay. Right here, Dr. Carolina Beatrice Orleans Gutierrez. Y'all, y'all go look. Y'all go type it. Y'all go type in her name. Y'all go type in her name. Hold on. Let me see. Will it let me? Hold on. Cause y'all go see what y'all find. Cause this is what I found. I found her. Um, I found what this is the main lady that pops up. This is the main lady that pops up. Her. She pop up pretty much everywhere that you type it, but I'm gonna put it in the chat if it lets me. Yeah, this is her name. It's in the chat. If you find anything on her, y'all let me know because I have some questions for her. I want to know why folk come. You didn't override them churn at that place and the Cabo M word and six and girl and just have Shanquella just go to the doctor. Like why didn't you just take it to the hospital? I mean not doctor, hospital. Like why didn't you take it to the hospital? But this is who I really think the person is. Her. I think it's her. I think this is her. Honestly. Honestly. I do. I think that Carolina Orleans Gutierrez is the nurse. I mean the nurse, the doctor that was there. And this woman, Carolina, you are a nurse, girl. Girl, I'm not doxing you, girl. This is all public knowledge, girl. I ain't doxing you. We got questions. So yeah, so shout out to her. That's who I found, y'all. That's who I found. But since we're talking about what's real and what's not, let's get into fake cousins. Now, this allegedly Shanquella cousin, y'all. She was on over there over to the Bigo, talking like she's Shanquella
y'all going
cousin.
to like y'all don't fuck with Kim. Y'all know what Kim is with y'all money. Like I was gonna be on the hush hush about this shit. Wasn't even gonna come forward saying that's my family or none of that. Really, none of that. Because I keep this shit away Bigo. But just to see that somebody trying to get a profit off of that name, nah, bro.
Great.
Nah, bro. You ain't getting shit, bro. You a thief. So I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna speak up about that shit.
So,
I don't play like that.
So tell us about who this beautiful girl was. Like, who is your cousin? Like, who is she?
Yes.
Okay, I have a picture of her on my profile. Shanquella was 25 years old, y'all. She was a boss bitch. She was a Capricorn. She graduated from college. My cousin braided little kids' hair. She had 3 businesses actually. She braided hair. She had a clothing boutique online, and she also sold bundles of hair. She sold weed. Shanquella, I feel like all this beef started when she took out a PPP loan. Her businesses took off. Her friends took out PPP loans. So just imagine if all of us take out PPP loans, but my business banging and y'all shit failing. You feel what I'm saying? It's gonna be some hate right there already.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she looked out for everybody. She paid for the whole fucking trip. That's why when she said she was ready to go home, that's why they jumped on her. Because she said, I'm ready to go. I'm not dealing with this. I'm finna burn out. I'm finna check out. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, pack y'all shit. Let's go. They ain't none of that. So they bullied her. And then after they killed her, they took her credit card and went out to the club. That's when the money part coming up at about them stealing. They stole her money and they stole her credit card and went out to the club. Came back while she was dead. Now they put pajamas on her because she was naked. They put pajamas on her, put her up in the chair, like propped her up in the chair, like she was woke type shit. First of all, you feel me? And and they went out to the club, came back the next morning. They called 911, hung up the phone. They got their shit. They got on the plane and came back here to Charlotte.
Dang.
And then they went to her mom's house. They took her suitcase. And they took her suitcase and stuff to her mom's house and told her mom that it was alcohol poisoning. And but look, everybody who touched her went. It was the Puerto Rican ugly girl, and then it was the brown skin one, and then everybody keep thinking that's a man. They went to her mom's house and told her mother that she had alcohol poisoning.
Oh my goodness.
You think if her mom would have knew or that they had murdered her daughter, they would have been able to walk out their fucking house?
So Champagne,
her mom just keep on saying they was right here in my living room in my face the whole time. They was in my living room the whole time. So now after that, it's already been a week. Ain't no telling where they at now. But everybody want to do interviews with the shade room and shit, talking about whoever paid them the most money, they want to do an interview. This shit ain't right. It is.
Yeah. That's
it is. But like I told them, I'll be at the funeral tomorrow, and so many people on here like her story, and I usually don't do that, but I will go live for y'all because y'all spending y'all time and energy, like really like breaking it down.
No, we fighting for her.
And her story
only facts. Yeah, we really don't breaking down, but we fighting for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, y'all. Next Real Gina left, so I would definitely go live tomorrow and let y'all be a part of her homegoing service. I feel like that's only right. You know what I'm saying? For all y'all just sitting here and y'all, because I've been watching y'all do this for days. I've been watching you and your daughter. You know what I'm saying? I just be in the cut though, chilling. You know what I'm saying? But when Cam did that shit,
Shanquella cousin speaks out on the matter.
Damn sure post the link.
What do y'all think? Do y'all think that this is her cousin? Because the streets is saying that the family stated that this is not her their family. They don't know this girl. We don't know her. From what the Robinsons are stating, Bernard ain't claimed her as family, and neither has Salamandra nor has Quilla. They don't know who she is, from what I've gathered. That's why I showed y'all, because it's literally people out here clout chasing off this woman's name. I think that's gross. So yeah, y'all saying she a liar? No, that's weird. I know, but she on here talking about some. She's mad at certain people because they clout chasing off of Shanquella's name. But it's just like, well, aren't you one of those people? Aren't you like talking about yourself? Because you're coming forward talking about some you family, and you're not family, and you tired of people about it, but you running around using her. And whoever said anything about a PPP loan, or no, I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Y'all go, they go get a PPP loan, and she the only one that's successful with the what? What? Like, what is she talking about? I'm like, who is this person? Like, what are you talking about? Because we're confused. But I'm gonna play that one more time, and then we're gonna move on to another part of what's going of the own.
And stuff, but yeah, if y'all want to, like, y'all don't fuck with Cam. Y'all know what Cam is doing with y'all money. Like, I was gonna be on the hush hush about this shit. Wasn't even gonna come forward saying that's my family or none of that. Really, none of that. Because I keep this shit all the way bigo. But just to see that somebody trying to get a profit off of that name, nah, bro. Right. Nah, bro. You ain't getting shit, bro. You a thief. So I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna speak up about that shit. So I don't play like that.
So tell us about who this beautiful girl was. Like, who is your cousin? Like, who is she?
Yes.
Okay, I have a picture of her on my profile. Shanquella was 25 years old, y'all. She was a boss bitch. She was a Capricorn. She graduated from college. My cousin braided little kids' hair. She had three businesses actually. She braided hair. She had a clothing.
Everything she's saying, you can go find on Shanquella's Instagram right now. So it's like you're not saying anything that nobody knows. Like you could go see that the pictures of the children whose hair she's did, and obviously I'm like, you're not saying anything that isn't like public. So I'm like, why people are saying that you're the cousin? I don't know. Because I'm like, yeah, that's weird. Because everything that you're saying, and I just don't want to listen to her anymore. Let's get into the next part of this.
News. New details on Shanquella Robinson's death. The Charlotte woman died while on vacation in Mexico at the end of October. Her friends returned home, but she didn't. This new information is from Metropolímex, a local news outlet in Mexico. Its article is, of course, written in Spanish, so all information is coming from a translation of that article. But the news outlet says the report from Mexican authorities shows a doctor came to the hotel and tried to revive Shanquella around 3:15 p.m. on October 29th. Her friends told the doctor she drank a lot of alcohol. The article goes on to say that the doctor advised her friends to take her to a clinic, but they refused and requested she be treated on site. Well, 2 hours later, the doctor says that she had a seizure and a friend called 911. Her breathing and pulse stopped, so the doctor tried to revive her, and the article says she was pronounced dead just before 6 o'clock that night. Now, the report lists cardiopulmonary arrest as the reason police were called. Metropolímex also reports the FBI is investigating the omission of information from authorities and doctors because the official autopsy report, well, it doesn't match the police report. As you might know, it has been widely reported across America now. The autopsy says her cause of death was a spinal cord injury. And then, of course, there's this video that appears to show Robinson getting beat up before her death. It has gone viral. Well, the news outlet in Mexico names the person who appears to be hitting her and the person they say was taking the video. No one has been charged yet, but the news report says both people are being investigated. Now, when we first spoke with Shanquella Robinson's parents a few weeks ago, they told WBTV that her friends' stories didn't match up. WBTV has not independently confirmed this, but we are working to get our hands on that police report written by authorities in Cabo.
Mexico has identified the woman in the video who's doing that to Shanquella. And they also identified who was recording. Did you guys know that? So, yeah, they're not playing. This is real. This is real because Mexico, y'all dropped the ball and a lot of this stuff. So y'all better clean it up. So, yes. So before we get into that, let's get into this. Now, friend remembers victim who was pow-powed, S-H-O-T, and K-I-L-L-E-D'd in High Point. She wanted you to win. She wanted you to win, Terry Chapman said. Okay. Now, before we get into this article, I'm going to talk about something that some people have discussed and a lot of people haven't. So we're going to talk about it now. Okay. I was going to save that for tomorrow's show. I'm like, you know what? Let's just talk about it. So who was the woman? Good question. So I was sent this article, right? Yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I was sent this article. And it got me to thinking, because this is information, again, that some people know and that some people don't know. Now, remember Alice, the one who was on the trip. She's part of the Cabo Six, right? Let me pull her up. Remember Alice or Elise, dear old Elise, Miss Cancun trip with the fake 3, the fake 4, right? She was there, right? On October 28th, they all came to Cabo, right? Elise, Winter, Dejanay, Shanquella, Khalil, all of that, right? On October 28th, that day is important, okay? Shanquella passed away on the 29th. So Alice in the video, which I'm going to pull that video up, the video that I put up yesterday in Shanquella's story when Shanquella posted that send hate mail and whatnot to the people who flaked, who didn't come to the party. Okay, now that party, hold on, I'm just going to pull that up real quick. Let me pull that up real quick.
She's Michael.
Let me pull this video up really quick because I forgot to grab it, but I'm just gonna grab it right now. Let me pull this up so I can, because I like to show you what I'm talking about, because it's easy to say it, but I want to show you. Is this the video? Well, it doesn't matter. It shows it in both. But we'll do this one. So in this video, this message that Shanquella puts on her story about sending the mean texts to people and DMs and whatnot. At the bottom, she says, right here, it says, send them mean emails, mean text, DM, posts, etc. to the people that flaked tonight. And she added at the bottom of the screen, you'll see she added at Joya Elise, right? Now, this was on Friday when Shanquella messaged, well, put on her story that Elise, out of all the people that were there, of the Cabo Six, Elise didn't come to the party that they had after when they were drinking and, you know, push-up games and all of that stuff. She wasn't out there, okay? She flaked. That's why she added her. Remember, this is Shanquella adding at the bottom of the screen. It says JoyaAlise, okay? Now, the reason she wasn't there is because, and I'm just figuring this out. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, that makes complete sense why Elise was not at the games after. Listen.
Back, and now the story gets even more confusing. This young lady right here happens to be Anita Hyatt, and this is Demetrius Hill. And Anita Hyatt is the older sister of Elise Hyatt, who went on that trip with Shanquella. Now, in the early morning hours of October 28th at 1 a.m., Demetrius murdered Anita. Curious why that date sounds so familiar? It happens to be the same date that Shanquella had died. Look at this tiny scribble you can see. So October 28th is when their plane arrived in Cabo San Lucas. Or Cabo, I can't remember which one it is. At 1 a.m., that's when Anita was murdered. And sometime in the morning hours of 6 a.m. between 10 a.m., that's when Shanquella was murdered. Now my question to you guys is, do you think it's possible that Elise or Alyssa, however you pronounce her name, knew that her sister had gotten murdered? Like, did she receive a call from her other sister? Is there any connection to the attack on Shanquella? Because that to me does not sound like a coincidence. I mean, and if it is, it's crazy, but I want to hear from you guys.
So the sister, or the person that passed away, was Anita Hyatt. Anita Hyatt is Alice's sister. Alice, or Elise, however you say it, Alice or Elise Hyatt is this girl's name, the girl that was there at the B&B with the girl with, you know, the Cabo Six. So on the 28th, the day they got there, her sister, Anita Hyatt, was murdered by her ex-boyfriend. So that got me thinking, like, well, did that have something? Because the rumor in North Carolina is that allegedly Shanquella set up somebody's cousin or family member or whatnot. So I'm thinking like, well, did Shanquella allegedly may have had something to do with that situation if it happened the day of or the night of? I don't know. And again, Elise was not out there with them after, and she had to have found out that night. And that's probably why she didn't want to be a part of the festivities. and then it's just like the next day this is happening to Shanquella. I don't know. That I'm just saying, like, well, is that connected? I don't know. I have no idea. But let's get into her sister. So this is what I was just reading to you, and I stopped reading to show you that. So right here, it says, friend remembers victim who was pop out and KILLED in High Point. She wanted you to win. She wanted you to win, Cherry Chapman said. Leaders of High Point Police Department said officers received a call about an assault with a deadly weapon at Super 8 by Wyndham, located at 4400 Regency Drive, Friday at 1 a.m. Okay, so it's technically, early on in the morning. Police found Anita Hyatt, 31, with a gunshot at the scene, officials say. She later died at a hospital. Police said they arrested and charged Demetrius Hill, 31, of Jamestown, with first-degree murder and firearm by a felon. Additional charges are expected. The suspect is the victim's ex-boyfriend, officials said. The investigation is ongoing. Authorities did not release any other details. Terry Chapman, some news talked with Terry Chapman Friday afternoon. She said she learned about her friend's death on social media. You don't really believe it when you see it. You're like, no, she added. It broke my heart. Chapman said that she met Hyatt at Wellborn Academy of Science and Technology in High Point, and they both graduated from T. Wingate Andrews High School in 2009. She said Hyatt was an entrepreneur and would often give her advice on her own business. She wanted you to win. She wanted you to win, Chapman said. She would give you the advice or help you needed. When anything you needed. She was the type of person, if she could, she would give. Police continues to investigate. Community is mourning, feeling the void of Hyatt being left behind. Let's go back up to the top. This happened on October 28th. October 28th. Okay. October 28th. So, from what I'm gathering, she probably just didn't know yet until she got settled and somebody called her, because they said that the police responded to it at 1 a.m. So that was early Friday morning that it happened. That's the day that they left. So it's possible that she didn't find that out until later, until she had got back. So now these things connected, I have no idea, but like I said, that something had to drastically, have happened. But like I said, I don't see where Shanquella would have came in with that. I don't. I mean, it seems like Alyssa's sister. I mean, Alice or Elise's sister was just in a bad relationship with a very bad man that ended up taking her life. But where Shanquella would come in with that, I have no idea. But this did happen the day that Elise left. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any idea if they are connected. Possible, but again, that is devastating. Maybe that's why Elise wasn't really like on camera or anything like that. Maybe she was grieving her sister. I don't know, because we did state yesterday that it didn't seem as if she had like much involvement from what we hear with the fighting and all of that stuff. It was more so Winter and Dejanay. I don't know, but again, rest in peace to Anita Hyatt. That's a very super sad situation. Poor thing. They got the guy though. He's arrested. He is in prison. Yeah. So they did get him, but I'm just like, well, that is a heck of a coincidence that she finds out that information, because there is rumor that is going around. Again, like I said, there's no proof behind any of it, but they're stating that allegedly Shanquella set up somebody, that she did something like that. do not know if Anita was involved. I don't know, but I know all of them are entrepreneurs. I know that. Everybody entrepreneurs. So, and they all around in the same areas. So they could be dealing with a lot of the same people. I don't know. Um, I have no idea. So yeah, but very unfortunate. So shout out to, you know, I will say to Anita, because nobody deserves that as well. I just found that was crazy. I'm just like, oh wow. So let's listen to my girl one more time on Twitter.
We're back, and now the story gets even more confusing. This young lady right here happens to be Anita Hyatt, and this is Demetrius Hill. And Anita Hyatt is the older sister of Elise Hyatt, who went on that trip with Shanquella. Now, in the early morning hours of October 28th at 1 a.m., Demetrius murdered Anita. Curious why that date sounds so familiar? It happens to be the same date that Shanquella had died. Look at this tiny scribble you can see. So October 28th is when their plane arrived in Cabo San Lucas. Or Cabo, I can't remember which one it is. At 1 a.m., that's when Anita was murdered. And sometime in the morning hours of 6 a.m. between 10 a.m., that's when Shanquella was murdered. Now my question to you guys is, do you think it's possible that Elise or Alyssa, however you pronounce her name, knew that her sister had gotten murdered? Like, did she receive a call from her other sister? Is there any connection to the attack on Shanquella? Because that to me does not sound like a coincidence.
I would agree. So again, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that stranger things have happened. I get that. Stranger things have happened. But with that information, with at least finding out that information, was there some type of involvement? I mean, I have no idea. But if Shanquella passed away like she said, from somewhere between 7 and probably 10, something like that, in the morning, if that happened, then it's like, well, what would make the switch? Like, was, I don't know. My guess is just as good as your guys. I have no idea, of course, duh. But I don't know, because it obviously you're going to be sad you hear something like that happening to your sister. But I would see if it was like Dejanay and that like happened to her, and she was like really upset and just angry. I don't know, and just kind of like took it out on Shanquella, or something like that. But Elise wasn't involved, from what we know, in anything physical with Shanquella. Like, she didn't do anything to her, from what we know. I mean, unless, but who knows when the story comes out? Who knows? But again, did she have some involvement with something, Shanquella? Well, I mean, again, it's still no excuse, but it gets us closer to maybe why they attacked her. Because still, we don't know why Shanquella got attacked. We still don't know what was going on in that video. Why Dejanay felt that, we don't know. I do feel for a fact that Winter did slam Dejanay my fault, sorry, not Dejanay, did slam Shanquella, and is the reason that happened to Shanquella, because she was the one that was the most guilty. She was the one that was the most guilty. She was the one making all the phone calls and deciding when the police is going to come and that she shouldn't be taking this to this place and all of that stuff. That was not Dejanay. Dejanay was not making those phone calls. She was not saying that she shouldn't go to the hospital. She wasn't saying none of that stuff. It was Winter. So if they're protecting anybody at that time, it was Winter. Because Winter know that she is the one who did it. That Winter giving guilty, panicking, all of that. Her. The person that did it is usually one with the most panic. And, with Dejanay feeling like, I don't need to be running around with like a chicken with my head cut off. I don't need to do that because I didn't do this. You did. Is how I feel like Dejanay was looking at it, because you don't hear Dejanay's name in nothing. You don't hear her in none of the phone calls. You don't hear her trying to do CPR or anything like that. I feel like Dejanay had already left, because they said that they had already had a hotel somewhere. So yeah, they don't say nothing about her. The one that is guilty was the one that was, guilty, because all of them are guilty. All of them know what happened. They all know what's up. They already know. But yeah, Winter, yeah, she got the guiltiest conscience, if you ask me. Because she already knows. She took the fatal blow. Well, all of them was doing was wrong, but Winter made it, to where it was over. She literally, hold on. She effed up. Hold on, Demetrius here. Oh Lord. Okay, hold on, let me pull them up. Okay, y'all, we got Demetrius. Shout out to the subscriber that just sent this to me. Demetrius Rashawn Hill. This is the man that took Anita Hyatt's life. Crazy. This is an old mugshot, but yeah, this is him. He took her life while her sister was on vacation. And they do have a third sister. It's 3 of them, I believe. Hold on, I got more stuff. Hold on, yeah. I see that. I just want to make sure I can show y'all. If people aren't sending me something, I want to show y'all because I don't want to show y'all. Sorry. Who is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, we just watched that. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're caught up. So, yeah. Again, we're not stating for a fact that we know anything like that, but we're just saying it's mighty coincidental that this man does what he does. And then it's like, because when did Elise find out? She could have found out that night, or she could have found out the next morning. Is that the reason why they started doing what they were doing to her that following morning? Because of something they may have found out? Because that's what I said, it seems as if like day and night, they were already isolating her. You could tell, but I don't know. So a switch was flipped. A switch was flipped. I don't know, because all of the girls are close. Alice, Winter, Dejanay, they're all close. So with them being close, they could have been doing that because it's rumored that they were doing that for Malik. They were doing what Dejanay was doing to Shanquella in the video. She was doing because of Malik, or was it for Elise, or how do you Elise Alice? How do you say that? What were they looking out for her? Because that it's their friend. They're all really close. They vacation together. They party together. They but again, because we have not seen anything else as of now that I feel that is tangible that would say like, oh, well, maybe this had something to do with it. I don't think that it could be a coincidence that woman's sister loses her life. Thank you, Earth Angel. That girl's sister loses her life, and then all of a sudden, they do what they do to Shanquella. I don't know. Are they connected? Good question. I would definitely have the police look into it, though. I would definitely have them look into it. Whose sister? Elise. I believe her name is Elise. I'll pull her up. Her sister.
Do you think it's possible that Elise or Alyssa, however you pronounce her name, knew that her sister had gotten murdered? Like, did she receive a call from her other sister? Is there any connection to the attack on Shanquella? Because that to me does not sound like a coincidence. And if it is, it's crazy. But I want to hear from you guys. Okay, so we're back. And now the story gets even more confusing. This young lady right here happens to be Anita Hyatt, and this is Demetrius Hill. And Anita Hyatt is the older sister of Elise, Hyatt, who went on that trip with Shanquella. Now, in the early morning hours of October 28th at 1 a.m., Demetrius murdered Anita. Curious why that date sounds so familiar? It happens to be the same date that Shanquella had died. Look at this tiny scribble you can see. So October 28th is when their plane arrived in Cabo San Lucas. Or Cabo, I can't remember which one it is. At 1 a.m., that's when Anita was murdered. And sometime in the morning hours of 6 a.m. between 10 a.m., that's when Shanquella was murdered. Now my question to you guys is, do you think it's possible that Elise or Alyssa, however you pronounce her name, knew that her sister had gotten murdered? Like, did she receive a call from her other sister? Is there any connection to the attack on Shanquella? Because that to me does not sound like a coincidence. I mean, and if it is, it's crazy, but I want to hear from you guys.
Thank you, Bella, for the super sticker, sweetie. Thank you. The man who really need, yeah, his name is Demetrius. He is in jail. Yeah, that is concerning. It is because it's just like, well, what happened? I mean, because from the sideline, it could just be again, just there was a DV situation, and it just ended badly. That's all. Or I mean, could it? I don't know. Like, could they be connected in some way, especially since it's not a reach if it all happened the same day. Like, how's that a reach? We don't know the involvement. Did he mean to go get Shanquella or something like that? I mean, like, we don't know. That's always we're questioning it. It's not a reach if it happened the same day. Like, to me, that's not a reach. Now, if it happened on like a Sunday or something like that, everybody was already back, or like a Thursday or Wednesday, and they all left out on Friday or something like that. To me, no. To me, that's a reach. To be like, oh, well, her sister passed away 3 days before. Okay, but what does that have to do with anything? Her sister passed away the morning she left, and then another girl that she was with died. All of it's weird. All of it. And you never know until you know. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. The police report came out today. That didn't explain what happened. Until they sit down and talk to the police, we don't know what happened. Like, we don't know. And pretty much Shanquella pretty much passed away the same day. As so again, and there was nothing else significant, that happened outside of them to, make it like, well, what did they do this to her for? Because they tormented her. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. Not only did they torment her, they tortured her for hours. For hours, they tortured that girl. So it's like, was that connected? I mean, it could be. Or again, it could just be completely coincidental. It could just be a coincidence. What, before that girl left, the morning of, her, sister's ex-boyfriend found her and did what he was going to do to her. I mean, and very unfortunate. That's what I say. That's a super sad situation. Prayers to her family for that, because that girl was innocent. She didn't deserve to pass away, especially from some loser that feels like he owns women. Like, yeah, no, that's unfair. It's unfair. But could they be related? We don't know. Maybe. I mean, we have no idea. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to exclude it. Um, the Perfect Moon, thank you so much. She said the DV situation came out when the video got leaked. It was stated that they were there to help cheer up Alice, or whatever her name is. This is so odd. Yeah, this is odd. But again, because that's weird too, honestly. And why I say that that's weird is because if your sister passed away, that's the morning of, the last thing you're going to want to do is jump on a flight. Mm-mm. How can you enjoy yourself when somebody that close to you just died? Like, that would, if anything, you just like want to be around your family, because they do have another sister, and whatnot. So I would want to be close to my family. I wouldn't be able to party or anything anyway. I wouldn't even be able to enjoy myself, knowing something like that. Like I would be a mess. So, and most people would be. So, and then with it, how they planning to cheer her up about something that happened the morning of. So the morning of the flight of them already, so that means that her mind had to already have been made up if she was flying out with them. She would have had to already gotten a ticket, and all of that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. That doesn't make sense. I don't think that she knew until she got there, honestly, because her sister passed away early in the morning. And sometimes it takes time to locate family. Sometimes it takes a few hours or sometimes even longer, to get in contact with the John Doe or John and Jane, uh, their family. Sometimes it takes some time. So her family probably wasn't located until maybe later on that morning or later on that evening. So yeah. And they hit her up and told her because again, it's like how are they pre-cheering her up like they knew her sister was going to die if her sister died the day they left. So they left on the 28th. Her sister passed away early morning around 1 a.m. When the police got there around 1 a.m., she had already passed away. So she would have had to find that out the day she left, not they say she knew. I just don't know how. How? Now, it's possible that she could have already had her mind made up to go on the trip and her family contacted her before she left, so she already knew. Now, that's possible. It's just like, well, you aren't already planning this trip, and all that good stuff. You might as well still just go. But to state like we're gonna take you on a trip because your sister passed away, she had just passed away that morning. It's like, how would they have known that? Or known that that was going to happen? Like that's mad creepy. Um, you know. So yeah, I feel like now that's possible that she knew before she flew out, or so that yeah, very well, and she didn't want to, and because literally happened the day she was leaving. Most people probably would go still, they didn't want to waste the money, and stuff like that, and just go because it's too late to cancel. Or if you do cancel, you're just gonna sit there and think about it. You're gonna feel even worse, So I could see her just like being like, okay, let me just go chill and rest my mind and some paradise, some beautiful weather, beautiful beaches, beautiful views, and just try to collect myself so I can get ready. I don't know. I have no idea. But I did notice that she had posted, I wonder if it's still up. Hold on, let me go see if it's still up. She did post. Oh, it is. Hold on. She's been posting on her story, Elise. Okay, let me pull this up. So she has been posting on her story on IG. It needs to start over so y'all can see everything she's been posting. Okay. So she has been posting. This is her. She did make this post, and it says, it's like you got to stay busy so you don't get caught up in your thoughts. So I don't know if she's talking about Shanquella or she's talking about her sister. I have no idea. No idea. Hold on. What else did she post? Oh yeah. She posted, "Stop making excuses and make ish happen." Again, we are looking at Elise Hyatt. Elise Hyatt. Elise Hyatt. This is her Instagram. She was there with my phone. Okay, she says, God, I know I'm not like them. I'm just different. I'm just built different. I feel as if we all have got a purpose. She said it fast. But me, my potential is unmatched. I'm the chosen one. My only time to tell, what? Long live the guys. Say the opposite, but deep down. We'll have to get. She's spelling it too. And it is switching so fast. We'll have to read that again. I'm gonna just try to pause it so that it's at the end. Then I can just read the whole thing. Okay, she says, God, I know I'm not like them. I'm just different. I'm built different. I feel as if we all got a purpose and we all special in some way. But me, my potential is unmatched. I'm the chosen one. My only time to tell, long live the guys. I don't know what any of this means. This is Elise. Hold on, let me pull up these people picture because y'all is a mad error. Y'all is mad error. Because I keep saying her name, so maybe y'all don't know who she is. Maybe y'all only know the people by face. So let me pull her up because clearly y'all ain't know. Let me pull up one of the pictures that's famous because clearly y'all don't know who she is, which is weird because literally we've been talking about these people for weeks. Let me boom, boom, boom. Because when I put up regular pictures of her, like this picture, I guess since it's not a popular picture, since other blogs ain't sharing that people don't know her face. This one either. I guess they gotta be like a popular picture. So let me pull up a popular picture. So then maybe you guys will get it. Alice is right here. She's right here. She's the second one. And here goes some popular pictures of them. She is the second one in the ugly burnt orange dress, right next to the Erder herself, Winter in the pink dress. The one right next to her is Alice, however you want to say her name. That's who Instagram we were just on. Out of the Cabo 6, we were just on Elise. Sorry. Okay. So, oh, hold up, my phone. Let me pull this up too. Let me pull this up. This is crazy. I think they're going to make an arrest though. And I think the first arrest is going to be Dejanay Jackson. The first, no, this isn't it. This isn't it, sorry. But I'm going to find it. But I do think the first arrest is going to be Dejanay Jackson. I think that they're going to get her immediately. Go read my comments. Okay, hold on one second. Let me pull up because y'all sending me a lot of stuff, which is fine by me. Hold on. Okay, yeah, sorry. I don't know. Okay, y'all have questions. We can't answer those right now. If you want to send me tea, that's fine. But I'm not gonna talk to you right now. I'm live, like gross. So if you're asking me questions and stuff, that's gonna have to wait until after the show. But yeah, I'm like literally running the show right now. So yeah, the questions are gonna have to wait. Joya Alice. Oh, okay, my fault. I believe that no, that's right. Yeah. Wait, hold on. I'll pull it up in a second. Move right along because this is a lot of information. So before my brain gets fried. Okay, is this where they stated? Because they're talking about Mexican authorities have identified Dejanay Jackson in the video as the one that was causing physical harm to Shanquella. With that being stated, I feel like they're in the process of bringing up charges. That's what I feel that they are in the process of, especially naming her, because before no one was named as a suspect, but now it seems as if they have a suspect, and their suspect is Dejanay. So they about to start turning on each other. Ooh, this like, and we about to get all type of details. We about to get all type of stuff. We about to because Winter sister quote because she was smiling and I said that's weird. I don't know. Cooley because his timeline editing up, he probably already singing. Nazir, are you talking about? Kool-Aid. Who's Kool-Aid? I didn't believe Nazir at first, but if the doctor believes the alcohol poison alibi, why wouldn't he? Because why didn't she play Summer Walker for her? Waffle come. Hold on, let me pull this up. Hold on. Right here. I know I keep some tea. Which video is it? I think it's right here. Yep, shout out to Gerald. Let's get into this. All
right, y'all. Come in. Now, I wanted.
Fast forward to get on the phone with him.
So what's up? You wanted to talk? What's up?
Yeah, do you want to? I'm about to go live. You want to go live or you want to just talk?
Oh no, you can do your own thing, man. It don't matter to me. I knew you was. People were sending it to me that you was going live at 8. So I mean, you got to defend yourself, man. This don't look good, bro. So I was calling you because I was on.
This is a recorded phone call, I believe, between Nazir Wiggins and Gerald from the North Carolina beat. So this is into having a conversation, and the CPR does come up. So for people saying that they believed him for what the doctor stated, get into the actual CPR. Let's get into that.
Live too, so when you had sent me your number, you was I was on live, so I just got it when I got off.
Okay. So you don't want to go live with me on Instagram?
No, I don't do the back and forth, bro.
Nah, ain't no argument. You can hit me up.
No, I mean you good.
Y'all hear it?
You good. I already told one of my team members they're gonna be watching you, so they'll let me know what's
y'all
going
can't hear.
on.
Hold on. Let me do it like this. Hold on. Let me do it like this. Here, let me put it up to the phone. Hold on. I'll try to put it on speaker.
I got my story. I do what I do, man. I keep it pushing, bro. I don't really get into the
try like this.
I'm sorry?
Where you get this information from?
What you mean where I get the information? You was there. Was you not there or no? Was you there or no?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, so so why didn't you? Okay.
Is it better?
You got to Cabo at about 11 something.
Look, I'm talking about Cabo.
I got to Cabo at 3:30 p.m. Mexico time.
How did you get to Cabo 3:30 p.m. Mexico time when it takes 3 hours from the United States to get to Cabo, and then the time will go back? So technically, you would get there about 1 something United States time, but it would be 11 o'clock Cabo time.
Did you not see I had a layover? I went from Charlotte to Dallas, from Dallas to Cabo.
Right.
Dallas to Cabo is 3 hours, not straight there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So What time did y'all depart from at 10:30? Like the ticket said? Okay. Did you depart at? But see, this is the thing, bro. Did you depart at 10:30? Right. Okay, but you do know that North Carolina and Dallas time is 2 different time zones too, right? All right. So what I'm asking you is, this is what I'm asking you, bro. Just listen to me. If you departed, like your ticket said, at 10:30, all right? So from 10:30 to Cabo, that will get you there about 1:30. That's 3 hours. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay. So you got there 2:16. I've been to Mexico before, bro.
So if he got there at 2:16, well, let me pull up the timeline thing again. So if he got there at 2:16, because now he said I got there at 2:16 on the dot. At 2:16 on the dot, at 2:13. Okay, now because at 2:13. One second, right here. At 2:13, Winter Donovan, one of the 6 friends who traveled with Robertson, called for medical help at Villa Linda 32, property run by Cabo Villas. So he would technically be telling the truth at this point, although his story done changed so many times. But if he made it there at 2:16, at 2:13 was when the phone call went out. So if he coming in 3 minutes after they called for the doctor to come and assist Shanquella, because he said that he was told that a doctor was coming. He said at first they told him that it was a dude, and then a female ended up coming. So he wasn't lying about that. That he was telling the truth about. It's still no vindication, but that he was telling the truth about. That's why he kept pushing the narrative when he was live. I did not know about a fight. I didn't ask anybody about it. I didn't say nothing about no fight. They ain't tell me nothing. So he could try to make it seem like he was innocent. He's trying to make it seem like, oh, I came in the door. They was already coming. I tried to administer CPR, sucking and kissing on and all that. I tried to do CPR with my tongue, and then it didn't work. And so then me and the doctor tried to do it together, and then she ended up passing away, and then I went home. I didn't know nothing else. They lied. They didn't tell me nothing. I didn't know nothing. So I'm innocent. I didn't do anything. You're lying. You absolutely are. You're lying. You're lying. But let's keep listening.
I mean, I know how the time zone.
You got there 2:16.
Okay, so what time is it right now in Mexico, bro? What time is it right now? It's 5:46 in Mexico right now. It's 5:46, right?
But if because he's saying that he got there at 2:16 on the dot. First he said he didn't make that to 3. Around 3:30. All of that. Now it's 2:16 on the dot. I know it was 2:16. Okay. The doctor, again, was called at 2:13, but she did not show up until 3:13. So he had a whole hour with her. He had a whole hour with Shanquella, and he done sat in there and played some of Walker whole album. Caressing and rubbing on people. So the plane couldn't have arrived at 2:16. Is he saying that the plane arrived at 2:16 or he arrived? Because he said at 2:16 on the dot. At 2:16 on the dot. But again, it still wouldn't mean that he was lying, even if he said that the plane landed at 2:16, because the nurse did not get there until 3:13. So he had from 2:13 to 3:13. So he had a whole hour to get there. And they said it was only take about 15 minutes to get there from the airport, 20 minutes tops to get there from the airport, to get to the villa. Royalty said he's referring to the villa. Okay, so so he's saying he made it at the villa at 2:16? Or is he saying the plane arrived at 2:16? Another channel found out the plane landed at 12:16, not at 2:16. And that's the thing, because, and not even another channel, the TikToker that put up his flight dates and whatnot, it said 12:16. I'm talking about his story, because he said Cabo. He said Cabo. So we can't go off on nothing nobody else said. We got to go off what his line ass saying, so we can keep up with his lies, girl. Because he called it Cabo. Okay. He had the Dallas times and everything confused. He said it took 3 hours to get to Cabo from Dallas, and that's a lie. You know, girl, that we got to go off his story. Because the TikToker that put up the ticket, he made it there at 12:16. He absolutely did. So that's what, when I said yesterday in the video, because we talked about that yesterday, and I said, so what did he do with the Uber driver from 12 to 3 o'clock? Because that's 3 whole hours. That's not being explained. So it's like, okay, so from noon to 3, what did you do? Like, what did you know the Uber driver? Was y'all homies? I mean, because where did you go? where did you go? Because it only takes about 20 minutes to get there. So you allegedly got there at 12. Okay, so now he's changing it to 2. But before his video, he said he didn't make it to there till after 3. Okay, so he the one lying, and you so innocent. What you lying for? You ain't got to lie, Craig. You ain't got to lie. So it's like, what are you lying for? You know, if you're so innocent, just say what time you made it. And if you can't remember, go get your ticket and to corroborate your story, and then tell your story. Like, because you're giving duh. So again, that's why I said we're going off of what he's saying, because he's a liar. So any information we come forward with, you know, we just making stuff up. But when he says something, although he's sitting here telling bold-faced lies, when he says something, you know, it's the God honest hand on it. Even in his live grabbed the Bible. Like we was gonna believe him. We don't care that you won't got the Lord. Now he gonna go get the Lord. He gonna go get the Bible. What, are you still lying? Just like y'all lied to their mom and them, y'all lied to the Lord. And y'all lied to the Lord knowing that the Lord know what happened. And y'all still lying to him. Looking that man dead in his face, telling a bold-faced lie. Just like y'all did to Salamandra. So Gates, no, they tried it. He made it to the villa at 3 something. That's the lie he said in the first one. That's what he said in the first one. Now he's saying that he made it at 2. Now he's saying he made it at 2. That's why I said he the one who lying. It's not us. It's him. He the one lying.
Yes, they 2 hours behind. No, they 2 hours behind. So like what?
Oh, he don't know what time for. Lord, he said it was Mexico 2 hours ahead of us. No, they not. He don't even know the times, and so he just an idiot. Just lie on top of lie on top of lie on top of lie. So if he thought it was 2 hours forward, saying that, so that's why he said, because he really got there at noon, right? But he trying to say that I didn't even make it there till like 3, because in Mexico they 2 hours ahead, so it was really 3 o'clock American time. Like, no, loser. What time did you make it in Mexico? Because that's the time frame that matters. Our time frame don't matter. Like, stop comparing the hours and none of that matters. What time was it in Mexico? That's all we want to know. When you got to Mexico, what the clock say? When you got there. When you got to the villa, what the clock say? Go back to your stories, because you said you made videos and stuff from that day. Claire, go back to those stories. What time did you do the story when you said you made it to the house? You came in there, you went straight to Shanquella, and then you went outside, made this quick video. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that, Nazir? Where is that video? Because that will show us when you made it, since you just got there. Okay, girl. Where is that video at? Why folk come? You hurry up and deleted it if you ain't got nothing to hide. Show the video. Show the video of you arriving there, because then we can know the time frame. Because at that point, you see, you just got there, so maybe you have been in the house maybe like 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes tops, and you did that video real quick. Okay, so then we'll be like, okay, if it say 1 or 2, then we'll know. Then we'll know. But he got the time frames wrong and all of that. So why would we be believing anything else? But I mean, y'all go off. Y'all go right ahead. Y'all believe him if y'all want to. I don't. I don't believe a word he says.
Hey, you thought that was 2 hours? You thought that was 2 hours ahead?
I said, if you flying from Dallas to Cabo at
Look, Cabo.
10:30, your flight depart.
What's Dallas time difference tomorrow? An hour?
I think it's an hour. I think it's an hour behind. Hold on. I'm gonna put it up right now.
I think it was like an hour behind.
Cause I know you gotta go live, so I ain't gonna hold you up. It's right. So they're an hour behind. Okay.
Listen, he did not leave Charlotte at 10:30. I got the ticket. He left Dallas at 10:30. I have the ticket. I have the itinerary. He sent me the itinerary. I have it. He left Dallas at 10:30.
So they're hours behind. Okay, but still though, your flight still left at the time according to Texas time. All right. So if you left at 10:30 and you got the Cabo, that's 3 hours. So let's just say 1:30 is when you would have got there our time. United States time. You would have got there 1:30 our time. But as soon as you got to Mexico, your time would have went back 2 hours. So you would have got there 11:30. The death certificate said that she died at 3:00 p.m.
Oh, I got there in the afternoon. I didn't get there in the morning at all. All afternoon, PM.
But Nazir, anybody that knows mathematics like I do, I'm very smart, but you said I was an idiot, all right? But I'm very smart, just to let you know. Okay, well, you know, you can explain to me all day, and you go on live and explain all you want, Nazir, but the FBI is on y'all. So that's why I told you. Well, you should. Why you should, Gab? I mean, okay, so let me ask you this. Did you give her CPR?
No, I gave her mouth to mouth.
What do y'all want me to do with that? He just asked the man, did you give her CPR? No, I gave her mouth to mouth. So you made out with her. I don't get it. I don't get it. That's not CPR. That's not what that were. That's not what that were. If anything, if he's talking about doing this with the doctor, maybe the doctor didn't want to put her mouth on Shanquella. That's all I can see. And she asked him to do the breaths for her. You push the breaths in, and I'll do the compressions. Okay, breathing around. Yeah, maybe that. I don't know. But other than that, making out with her is not CPR. Blowing in someone's mouth is not. It's a part of it. But that's not CPR. And then you only administer it when you need to. So if you were giving her CPR before the doctor got there, that's weird because, again, you were pushing down on her ribs as well, I hope, because that involves CPR. You just blowing in her mouth and opening your mouth, and just putting your mouth on hers, that's not CPR. It's a part of it. Blowing in their mouth does nothing without the chest compressions to help open up the airway. You know, that does nothing without that. If anything, you just blowing it down further. If her neck is cracked and her spine is cracked, and she's already having trouble breathing because of how her bones are sitting now, and it's hard for air to come in and out because all the pressure that she feels, and you blowing in this girl's mouth, like that was it? You didn't do anything else? Making out is not CPR. Gross. He said I gave her mouth to mouth. He said Cabo. He said that Mexico was 2 hours behind. I said that depends on what time zone you live in. If you in Dallas in that time zone, it's only 1 hour. It's not 2 hours, 3 hours. No. No. He was trying to compare the time zones from when he was in North Carolina. That's why he messed up his own lie. His own alibi, he turned into an alibi. Because you said you flew out of Charlotte at 10 o'clock in the morning when you actually flew out of Dallas at 10 o'clock in the morning. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. I'm like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about at all. Not even a little bit. He asked, did you give her CPR? You said, no, I gave her mouth to mouth. What? This is weird. This is weird. He's not even worth interviewing because he's an idiot. He's not even worth interviewing, honestly. Like, you'll get nowhere. Let's listen to that again, though.
But Nazir, anybody that knows mathematics like I do, I'm very smart, but you said I was an idiot, all right? But I'm very smart, just to let you know. Okay, well, you know, you can explain to me all day. You go on live and explain all you want, Nazir, but the FBI is on y'all. So that's why I told you. Well, you should. Why you should, Ken? I mean, okay, so let me ask you this. Did you give her CPR? No, I gave her mouth to mouth. Okay, that's CPR. So are you the idiot? I mean,
Jared was over there trying to give him too much credit. Because like he said, yeah, that's CPR. He said, no, it's mouth to mouth. Tomato. Tomato. Lord have mercy. Tomato. What is going on here? What is going on? Okay. Mouth to mouth is normally a part of CPR, not CPR within itself. You need more than just the breath, okay? That is not going to save a life. It's helpful in saving the life, but not going to save it. So Gerald is trying to give Nazia the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, well, yeah, that's CPR. You know, mouth to mouth. He said no. No, it's not. No, it's not. I have my tongue in the mouth, okay? And I was swishing it around in there, blowing air. That is completely different from what you're talking about. It is completely different, okay? I gave her the jaws of life, all right? And I don't know why folk come you keep putting these 3 letters in front of me, but it ain't what happened. It's not, all right? I put my mouth on her mouth because that was it, all right? And I blew real hard. Now stop putting the rest of them letters on me. Okay? I know what I did in Cabo. All right? In Cabo, I gave a mouth to mouth. That was it. All right? That's what it said.
Oh, CPR is mouth to mouth, bro. Bro,
so he's telling you that he never gave her any compressions or anything like that. He was listening to Summer Walker caressing her, putting his tongue in her mouth. He telling you the truth, Gerald. Accept it. All right? Now he said it's with the chest compressions and all that. He know what that word. He know what that word. He know what that word, Gerald. He know what that word. Okay? I didn't do that. Is what he's saying. Okay, I didn't do none of none of that happen. I didn't do none of that. All right, open your mouth. And not go like that. That's what I did. Now, do you get that, Gerald? Do you get it now? Okay. I wasn't trying to save her life. I wasn't trying to do none of that. Okay. I just blew air in her mouth, and that was it. Mouth to mouth. I know I know all of that. I know that white people stuff. I didn't do none of that. Now accept it. Okay? Because he done said multiple times. What was it, like 3 times? Did he say right here? He didn't give her CPR. But he told y'all that he did. And then he gonna put on his community post today and say, "Can I grieve? Because I told y'all the truth." When? I'm like, well, when did you tell us the truth? Because this is confusing. Because the doctor said that you did give CPR. You helped her. You saying that you didn't. You gave her mouth to mouth, which isn't CPR. Playing Summer Walker, rubbing her and blowing in the face, rubbing her and blowing in the face is what you said you was doing. Okay, so how were you vindicated? What did the doctor vindicate? You said that you didn't give her CPR. That's how the doctor said, and it don't even sound like you claiming that because of this.
And you got the cable, that's 3 hours. So let's just say 1:30 is when you would have got there our time. United States time. You would have got there 1:30 our time. But as soon as you got to Mexico, your time would have went back 2 hours. So you would have got there 11:30. The death certificate said that she died at 3:00 p.m.
Don't you come in here telling that lie. Don't you come in here telling that lie. Nazir said that mouth to mouth is not CPR. Okay, JJ? So you're going to have to go talk to Nazir about this because Nazir said that no, it is not. It is not CPR and it ain't part of CPR. Okay? Listen, so he about to tell you. He about to tell you right now. Listen.
But Nazir, anybody that knows mathematics like I do, I'm very smart, but you said I was an idiot, all right? But I'm very smart, just to let you know. Okay, well, you know, you can explain to me all day, and you go on live and explain all you want, Nazir, but the FBI is on y'all. So that's why I told you. Well, you should. Why? You should, Gab. I mean, okay, so let me ask you this. Did you give her CPR? No, I gave her mouth to mouth. Okay, that's CPR. So are you the idiot? I mean, bro, CPR is mouth to mouth, bro. Bro, compressions is chest compressions is called chest compressions, bro. CPR is when you do mouth to mouth. Okay, you did mouth to mouth, right? So you knew that Shanquella didn't, bro.
You can't read somebody proving you wrong, and because they didn't say certain devices, you right. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Okay? Mouth to mouth is a part of CPR. It is. So when somebody says CPR, they're just going to assume that you did all of the steps that go along with CPR. That's why you should administer CPR if you've never been trained on doing it, because you have no idea what it is. Because you see something in a movie does not mean that you should do it. It does not mean that, especially if you haven't been trained. because there's things you have to watch, there's things you have to look for, listen for. CPR can be very like nerve wracking and traumatic too, especially if it's somebody you care about. Type of situation. And so it's just like, you're weird. Like, you're weird. Okay. If you didn't do chest compressions and stuff like that, just say that you don't know how to do CPR, although you lied, and made it seem as if Shanquella needed CPR and whatnot. So you did that, type of situation. It's like, if you don't know what you're doing, just say it. Just say, I don't know how to do CPR. I have an idea, but, I don't know how to do it. So I didn't fully do CPR on her because I don't know how. CPR is hard to do. And on top of it being hard to do, it's very tiring. You can tire yourself out really fast. So for them to do 14 rounds of CPR on her, I know those people were exhausted. Because doing a CPR is exhausting. It is. It's very exhausting. It is. Especially if you have to do it a lot of times. If you can just do it once or twice and it brings the person back, great. But because sometimes it can take longer. Sometimes it can take 4 or 5 rounds, and that person finally start breathing again, or, water, if they're drowning, or something like that. It can take a couple rounds, especially with water, was involved. It gets really tricky, with water. But if it's just somebody being unresponsive, that's hard too, because it's a lot of work giving CPR. I've had to do it once in my life, and I was scared to death the whole time I was doing it. So yeah, I was very scared, and I was so glad that the person made it, because I was just like, oh my gosh, very stressful. I was stressed after that, like I was shaking after, and all of that. So CPR is no joke. She was dead within 15 minutes after the slam. No, she wasn't. They lied, girl. They lied to us, DJ girl. They lied to us. They lied to us, girl. They did not tell us the truth. It was not. He was the fall guy. To a certain degree, I would agree with that. He was, he's stupid. Like, mass stupid. And with him being stupid, it was easy for them to kind of just plan everything on him. Like, let's leave him here with her, and but so yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree that they left him there deliberately. She had a seizure too. That's the only reason they called 911, because they didn't remember. That's the question I have for the doctor, because I don't understand how they got to overrule the doctor. How do they overrule you? If they call you, that means that they're calling you for your experience and for you to do what doctors do. And you knew that she needed to go to be in a hospital setting. You knew that that's what she needed. That was the only thing pretty much at that point that could explain what was going on with her. I think that the doctor, with them lying to her when she comes in, and what this idiot Nazir doesn't what he's failing to realize is that you lied to the doctor too. Even if you told the doctor what the majority told you, you went with a lie. You went with the lie. He said that he never questioned the fact with any of the people that were there why Shanquella had bruising on her, why her eye was like that, her forehead was like that. He said he never asked. You didn't ask because you already knew. Why would you ask them something you know? So that's what makes you guilty. They did tell you what happened. You knew what happened. Even if it was before, because I definitely feel like with him coming, they alerted him of things. He knew things before he got there. He knew stuff. Like, you got to stop lying. Like, you knew about that fight. You knew about it. Now, in its entirety, maybe not. But you knew that girl had gotten beat up. And I'm not even against the fact that they probably sent him the video. That somebody sent him the video before he got there or on his way there. While he was in the Uber, the town car, something like that. Who knows? But he knew. He knew what was up. That's why he doing all this lying. Because he could have been the only one to me that was innocent. And how Nazir could have been the only one that was innocent is because if he did come last, which he did, he was there last. He was supposed to be there Friday. He did not make it there until Saturday. Fact. If they didn't tell him what had happened to her, which is understandable because they even lied to her family and told her family that it was alcohol poisoning, all he had to do was dial 911. That's all he had to do. And he would have been fine. He would have been the hero. That's all he had to do. But he chose not to. He knew that it was something beyond alcohol for how scared everybody was. And they were scared because of the injuries on her face that he had already knew about. He said he saw the injuries on her face. No, I didn't go out there and ask them if they jumped on her. Why? Yeah, why would you? You already know. You already know. You saying jumped. She was not jumped in that video. She wasn't jumped. You keep saying jump. What you saying jump for? Because you knew. So yeah, you did know that. You did. You just chose not to do anything about it because neither was anybody else. And again, a fight is a fight. So to him, she could have been drunk. That's why I said he could have been innocent. Like he really could have been innocent of knowing like truly the damage that happened to her. Like he could have been. Yeah, I'm not saying no towards that. But you knowing what you knew that she got into a fight. You knew that who was involved. You knew all of those things and you chose to say nothing. You could have even said to the doctor about, because if if Nazir saw the busted lip, the swollen eye, the knot on the forehead, so did the doctor. So did the doctor. And I believe that's why the doctor didn't want to leave her. I believe that's why she stayed. Because she could have gave her that IV and been on out the door. She could have gave her that IV and been on out the door. And then they could have called her back after she seized. Like, look, you need to come back. She just had a seizure. Or she's something's going on with her. You need to come back over here. She could have left immediately. She didn't have to stay. She stayed because she knew something wasn't right. Now, I'm not in her brain, so I can't tell you what she thought was wrong, blah, blah, blah. But I know for a fact, you sitting there looking at that girl's face, that it was clear that other things happened. Because as a doctor, you can tell self-inflicted wounds versus to somebody attacking someone. You can tell. And there are plenty of men around. So that should have made you suspicious just because of that. Not even, it could have been a woman that did this to her, but there are men here. And with her not being able to speak, her mumbling her words and things like that, you don't know what's going on with her. She could be in danger. As far as you know, the best place for her would have been the hospital because she would have been safe. She was not safe there because that's where it happened. She ain't safe here and around none of these people. She's not. So as a doctor, I feel that you should have got her somewhere safe. And you chose not to. I mean, you let them overrule what you said. Like, why? I mean, were you scared because most of them were black or like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. Because you a doctor. If you think she should be in the hospital, that's where she should be at. Who are they? Who are they to tell you, a MD, what's best for her and where she should be treated? None of these people are family. None of these, ain't no husband over here speaking for her. Ain't no sister or mother or aunt or cousin. Ain't none of these people here. All of these are strangers, basically. All of these are strangers. Now, I see if the husband, or somebody like that was there and they were just like, look, I want my wife to be treated here, or something like that. I can see that a little bit more because, power of attorney and things like that, that's going to go, especially if the person is unresponsive, it's going to go to that person anyway. But ain't nobody here her power of attorney or anything like that. So nobody has the right to speak for her while she is unresponsive. No one has the right to do that. No one has the right to say what care she gets and what she should know. She should have just been taken up, especially if she can answer for herself. I mean, you let all these weirdos say that. I see if Shanquella said it. I see if Shanquella said, I don't want to go to the hospital. She did it. That girl couldn't even speak. She couldn't even form a sentence. And you go with these people, like she ain't even saying no. She's incapacitated at this time. Like she can't speak for herself. Her decision-making skills are gone, right now. Even better to get her out of here. Get her out of here. I would have said, well, can y'all call her parent or something and not just see what her parents say? Because the doctor would have told the parent the truth. Like, look, this is what's going on. They're saying it's this, but I don't know. Her breathing is this and this is that. She needs to be at a hospital. Then the mom would have found out that Khalil was lying when Khalil said that it was going to be $5,000 to take her to the hospital. That's a lie. He was lying. He lied to her. He absolutely did. And that's another thing too. I would say the same thing with Shanquella. Parents, make sure all her organs and stuff is there. Let's make sure this is not another Kendrick situation. Make sure all of her organs and stuff are intact. She was young, 25 years old. She wasn't a drinker or anything like that. So the majority of her organs were very healthy, I'm sure. So definitely look into that. Make sure she everything where it's supposed to be. Make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Yeah, you never know. You never know. So again, she was young. So a lot of people could use those organs. So it doesn't matter if she's buried. Kendrick's family, that's how they found out his organs was missing when they literally took his body out of the grave. That's how they found out that he had a toilet paper from his head to toe. That's how they figured it out. That don't mean nothing that she better unbury her and bring her back. I mean, because you got to do what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Yes, it was exhumed. You got to do what you got to do. That's how they would have never known. If they would have left his body in the ground, he would have been in the ground with newspaper inside of him. That they got their own autopsy. That autopsy was done in Mexico. I ain't bracing nothing like that. I ain't got nothing to do with Mexican people. But it was done in Mexico. And they said the girl didn't have no alcohol. They lied about her time of death. They lied. Mexico dropped the ball when it came to Shanquella. So I don't believe nothing. That's what I'm saying. The whole death certificate wrong. And y'all did the autopsy. Oh no. Well, bring me my baby body back here. Let's make sure everything is intact. Since they lied about this and since they lied about that. Because they tried to do the same thing with Kendrick. Although that boy had been assaulted before he passed away. And they tried to make it seem like he died inside of that gym mattress because he lost air. Because there was not enough oxygen. Getting that was a total lie. That boy was assaulted before that happened. No different than her. No different than Shanquella. She was assaulted beforehand. And they made Kendrick's body, made it look like, oh, there was nothing wrong. Everything was fine. He died of natural causes, blah, blah, blah. And then the family exhumed the body. And that boy had literal newspaper inside of his body. No organs. Not a one. Nothing. So, and that's bull. That should not have been done. So, because it was done without the family's permission. You don't have the right to take organs, none of that. You leave that person intact. Even if you cremate somebody, you cremate them from head to toe. Unless they wanted to donate body parts and stuff to science or, be a donor or whatnot. If they didn't have none of that, then none of that's supposed to happen. You're supposed to bury them as is. Bury them as is or cremate them as is. You do not have the right because they had a healthy lungs or a healthy heart or a healthy liver to just take it. Because no, that is illegal. It's illegal. So yeah, but I would definitely have that checked. I definitely would. I mean, why not? Um, it happens. It absolutely does. So I would definitely because Mexico did the autopsy. The autopsy was not done in America. It was not done here. So yeah, I would definitely check all of that out. I would look into it. Just make sure everything is on the up and up. That's it. You know, it's not exhuming it for no reason. I feel like it would be exhuming it for a very good reason. You know, to make sure that everything is intact. Because if her body is exhumed and it's come to find out that her organs are missing, then what? Because they could be. Because again, it wasn't done here. Mexico sent them back a body with the real cause of her death, though, like the spinal cord injury. With the real cause of her death, though, the death certificate was that was another thing too with Mexico, because from what it seemed as if the death certificate was done before the autopsy. Because I'm like, well, what's the death certificate? Because you need the autopsy in order to do a death certificate, right? So that you can put the cause of death on there. The cause of death initially on the death certificate was not the spinal cord injury; it was alcohol. So if y'all messed up with that, y'all could have messed up with all the type of, so who knows what else y'all effed up at and effed up on. Like who knows? Type of situation. So it's better for, I feel, the family to check in on it. And see there's no hurt or harm in just, trying to figure something out and make sure that again everything is intact. So absolutely, Mexico's police department around Cabo and their coroner's office, yeah, dropped the ball completely. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, they do. They exhume bodies all the time. They do. They exhume bodies all the time. I seen somebody stated in the chat earlier that there was like $17,000 inside of a one of the suitcases or inside of Shanquella's suitcase. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'll look into it though. Did the doctor speak English? I hope so, so I can interview her. I hope so. I hope so, so I can interview her ass. Hmm. I hope she does, but I don't know. That's a good question. That is a good question. Um, you do need an autopsy to do a death certificate, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like, what happened? Like, how was your death certificate wrong? Like, how does that happen? So that's what I'm saying. And that happened in Mexico. So that means that Mexico dropped the ball because that's where it happened. So yeah, I just found that crazy. Yeah, that lady says there was $17,000 in her luggage and the Mexican police took it. What lady though? What lady though? Y'all send me that. Y'all send me that. I'm Shine Everywhere Show at IG. We can talk about that tomorrow because I'm about to end this live. Yeah, we can talk about that tomorrow. Oh, I will. Oh yeah, you ain't got to worry about it. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about this situation in a whole nother way. Every single day we're gonna come forward and just talk about what we see until we find out the truth. It's that simple. She didn't. They translated it. Okay, so they had a translator. Okay, on scene, I can see that. Why did she carry so much cash? I want to know if she did have $17,000 because I don't know. If she did have $17,000, how did they let her carry that much cash? Because they normally don't let you. That's a lot. That's a lot. It is. Y'all want a station head? Oh, y'all station head. So yeah, we'll do station head. I promise. We for real. I promise we will do station head. There is a lawyer. Who? Which one? Because it's some of these lawyers be driving me crazy. Was Winter the translator? I doubt it. But yeah, I thought it was like I said, it could definitely just be coincidental that Anita Hyatt passed away the day that they left. It could just be coincidence, or again, I mean, Does that have any involvement, in some way, shape, or form? Who knows? Who knows? But I will definitely, we're gonna go into that story more tomorrow, and why it's a certain rumor that's going around. So I'll pull up that rumor too, so y'all can see the rumor. But we will get into that story again tomorrow, and any new information that is sent to me, we'll go over that too. But yeah, we definitely will. What's the translate? Why do y'all keep saying that? Is she Latino? Is she Spanish? Well, speak Spanish? Is that what y'all say? Because I don't know any of these people's, besides the obvious ones, nationalities. Right. That's what I said. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what her race and nationality is. I have no idea. They said she looked white of Puerto Rico. She looked white of Puerto Rico. You can use your phone to translate. Yeah, but don't nobody be having time for that though. Like, yes, she is Spanish. She is, okay. Okay, that makes sense. But there's plenty of Hispanic people that do not speak Spanish. So y'all tried it. Y'all tried it. I am very so much black. And if I went to or Kenya, anywhere like that where they speak anything other, I'm not gonna know it. I'm not gonna know it. But there are plenty of Hispanic people that do not speak Spanish. Just like there's plenty of Black people that don't speak nigga. Is plenty of, Latino people that don't speak Spanish. Or know about as much Spanish as we do. And I just know a little piece of gracia. C. Cuatro. Cilantro. Yes. Sriracha. Yes. So I've been working on it. I know. I'm getting better. I know. So yeah, I've been working on it. I've been working on my El Español. So I know. I've been working on it. It's getting better. It's getting better. Oh my goodness. I used to say burrito, now I say burrito. So yes, it's getting better. It's getting better. I'll be practicing. So yes, hair flip. So now I have to get out of here. We are at our 3-hour mark. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for joining me. Oh my gosh, we have so much fun, don't we, right? Again, shout out to Shanquella Robinson, justice for her. We will keep following this story. The juicier the information, the quicker I'm gonna go live with it. Again, I really want to just do everything that I can. So I'm gonna be, if it take until whatever it takes is how I feel. I just don't want the story to die down. I don't want, because it's so easy, for people to avert their attention somewhere else. And I feel like this is what the Cabo 6 is waiting for. I feel like the Cabo 6 is waiting for us to avert our attention elsewhere so they can try to creep away. No, y'all going to jail. So it's like, no, here, flip. No, I'm over it. They're going to prison. They're going down. So, and this is what they want. They want us to just stop talking about it. They want us to talk about other things. No, we're going to talk about y'all. We absolutely are. Until y'all locked up some goddamn where. Then we could, we could chill. We could breathe for our girl. But until then, no, justice for Shanquella. And if y'all don't want to give it to her naturally, then we'll force you to. We could do this the easy way, or we could do it the hard way. It's up to you. So I love y'all. So I will do a station head. Give me like 30 minutes so I can rest my throat. And then we'll go live. So yeah, again, I love you. Thank you all for your support. I will put the link for Station Head on the community feed as usual. Until tomorrow, I love y'all. Bye.
Fresh, flex.